welcome to the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. Hello everyone, I'm Cameron Walsh along with Hugo Louis. We are going to be bringing you the next 20 minutes of this unofficial race here in the Gathering of Tweakers series. It's all the American cars today. It is, of course, the Corvette C6R GT1 car with the GT2 Ford. So it will be a star-studded field today as the cars are rolling around on their pace lap right now. We'll go quickly through the field. It is going to be a sprint to the finish in every single stretch of the word. It is an amazing amount of cars, 35 here today. We'll go through the field. Starting on front, following that gold pace car is Nick Thiessen, who qualified with a 201.72 tenths of a second ahead of Paul Ilbrink. Paul Ilbrink, of course, one of the best. So Oguz Ekant out on the second row with David Desros in the number 4 position. Bekir Kaksra in 5th with Dujan Boldrin in 6th position. Maximilian Schneider in 7th with Adam Parley in 8th position. Tim Klassens in 9th. Bram Reiners 10th. Jason Katz 11th position. Mark Scheindel in 12th position with Andy Collins-Reed in 13th. Mark Figueras in 14th position. Douglas Beard in 15th. Martin Green in 16th. And last, in starting on the Corvette pacing line is Davey DeHoogie in the 17th position. And, of course, qualifying first in the Gathering of Tweakers American Team Challenge Part number 2, the Ford GT side of things, as this is the second branch of the American part of the Team Challenge, is Stefan Overgaard, of course, someone who knows his way very well around the Ford GT2 car with Boslav outside of him also. So should be good to watch there with David Baraklau in 3rd, with Dustin Hickman 4th, Joris Thielanen in 22nd, Martin Hillingers in 23rd, Darren Seal 24th, Favizikan Azkan, in 25th position, as Afkan Burkai in 26th, Tom Thompson in 27th, Denny Rates in 28th, Steve Greenwood in 29th position, Andy Morgan in 30th, Eduardo Tometti in 31st, with Aiden Pike in 32nd, Remco Moat in 33rd. At least those are the positions I kind of swapped halfway through. Whoopsie doodle. That is how they run. So it is Stefan Overgaard in that front. He qualified with a 207.110 over Boslav with a 207.331. 4 qualifiers in the Ford GT field that qualified the 207 bracket, so it should be pretty tight and good running as it stands. So Nick Thiessen following behind that pacing car as he is as the Ford car has, the Fords have backed off the Corvettes, of course. Different classes, different racing. So these Corvettes, they're getting ready to rough and tumble here. It is a stacked field as far as who is who as far as GT car racing. So as the pace car takes them towards Canada Corner, we'll just get a couple of more sights, a couple of more sounds, and then we'll get ready for the long run up here at Road America. It's a 14-corner, 4-mile exact course, and as that pace car, that Ford Mustang, by the way, pace car, will lead the field through. We'll just watch the sights and the sounds, and we'll meet them at the start-finish line. And so the pace car will veer off to the right, and it is under the right foot of Nick Thiessen. He will let it go as the American ponies go to work. It's Nick Thiessen will take that first position. He will have it all the way through as he pulls away across the start-finish line. It is going to be hotly contested. Paul Ilbrink and Oguz Ekant also. Ekant looking to go to the inside. No, did not happen at turn number 1. Paul Ilbrink, though, staying right behind Nick Thiessen with Bekir Karaka and David Desroches also following. As the Fords are released, the Fords come through the first corner as Boslav is able to overpower the position away from Stefan Overgaard, at least for right now. So it's Vaslav. He closes the door going in through turn number 3, and he will have that position. Vaslav over Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard now back relegated to second. Dustin Hickman, though, looking to make that third with David Barraclough as the rest of the Ford GT field streams through down towards the very tight turn number 5 hairpin. As the field will stream in through, they all take different lines, just slightly different from one another. Nobody going over that rumble strip, though. Not allowed to do that anymore. As Stefan Overgaard will continue to stay in second position as Vaslav is running in that first Ford GT position. Looking back to the Corvette field as they too are running away with it, as it is still Nick Thiessen running up front with Paul Lilbrink behind Oguz Kent, and that number 5 pink Corvette is following with Bekir Karaka in the 5th position. Well, he's gotten himself down to 4th from the start. David Desroches is in the 4th position, or the 5th position, as they head down towards Canada Corner. Now this is going to be one of the corners to pass on. This is going to be very important here as Nick Thiessen is able to hold everybody off. Everybody just taking it nice and easy to start there. Oh, somebody's off there. That's Maximilian Scheider in the 777 car, the yellow Corvette. He had an off, and he lost quite a couple of positions. He's actually looking like he's dropped down 3 or 4 positions right like that off the bat. So as we complete lap number 1 of this 20-minute sprint event, it's Nick Thiessen. He is going to take the lead of this, the first lap, with Paul Lilbrink just right behind 0.2 of a second. So as they all head towards turn number 1, we'll see if Paul Lilbrink does anything about it this time by. No, he does not. I think he's going to lie in wait, as there is already only 17 minutes to go. These are just about 2-minute lap times, so expect in a 20-minute race about 9 laps. I presume we're going to hit 9 laps. There's no pit stops here, as everyone is just ready for this sprint, as we don't often have sprint races. Oh, it looks like Paul Lilbrink using the draft to get side alongside of Nick Thiessen's Corvette, and it looks like he will have to concede. Nick might, but he does not. He continues to push it too wide through the entire hairpin, and Nick Thiessen fighting back just like that, and that number 12 Corvette is still in contention, but it very quickly turns into a 1-lane line. We'll have to see who's going to back down, Paul Lilbrink or Nick Thiessen. It's going to be very tight, as Oguz goes well off into the dirt, but ultimately, though, Paul Lilbrink is going to take that position from Nick Thiessen, as Vaslav is still leading the Ford GT2 cars. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about those guys, as Paul Lilbrink has now taken the overall lead as they go into the carousel for just the second time. Looking back now at the Ford GTs, it is still Vaslav, as I had said, over Stefan Overgaard, Dustin Hickman in 3rd, David Barraclough 4th, and Joris Thalen in 5th position in the Fords, as they seem to be streaming through here. The entire field seeming to have gotten away cleanly. Nobody has pulled off just yet. So, and just like that, these cars are pulling away from one another. It looks like Nick Thiessen has nothing in it for Paul Lilbrink. Lilbrink had managed to acquire that position number 1 from Nick Thiessen by means of force. They were too wide for almost the entire lap, and just as fast as you could say, we have finished lap number 2. We're on lap number 3. It is Paul Lilbrink who qualified in second, who says, "Thank you, sir. I am now going to try and pull away." So with already a second gap going into it, I believe, as they go down the straight towards the, I believe it's the Canada Dry Bridge, or no, it's a cheese. It's some sort of cheese manufacturer bridge. Paul Lilbrink will already be almost out of draft range from Nick Thiessen. So we'll have to see here, as it seems that there's this front pack of 5 cars, as somebody looks like they're getting a little jammed up there. That second group seems to be getting a little jammed up. That little gap developing between Maximilian Scheider and Adam Pearl. Bram Reiners is looking to go on the inside through the hairpin. Oh, he's just so close, but he decides against it, as they will go single file. The yellow Corvette from the blue Corvette from the red. From the white, they will come through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, with Andy Collins-Reed looking on in that white Corvette as these 3 cars. Oh, somebody's off. Somebody has had an incident. A couple of cars involved here. We'll go take a look at it and see what we can't find. It looks like it's Mark Schindel. It looks like he has had an incident there. We'll have to, let's see, can we me take a look. Oh, okay, I see what's happened here, as we can't bring the replay to you, but that's A-okay. I can explain it to you very easily. He went under the Corvette bridge, and he lost the rear end under power, so kicked up a bunch of smoke, but ultimately no harm, no foul, though he has lost a lot of positions already, as he is fallen well off the rear end of the cars that he was racing with before. As we look at the 808 car of Boldrin. Boldrin is looking to take the fight against Tim Claessens. Tim Claessens, nothing in it, as Tim Claessens has taken that position away from Doljon, as it looks like he will acquire sixth position from Doljon. So as Tim Claessens pulls himself up into sixth position to complete out lap number 4, we are already almost halfway through the finish. We are 6 minutes into this 20-lap sprint race. So here we go through turn number 1 once again. It is still Paul Ilbrink from Nick Thyssen, but we'll go take a look, a glance back at the Ford GT2 field as they pull across. They go under the Caterpillar Bridge. It is Bas Slub still in the first position with Stefan Overgaard in second. Dustin Hickman is in third. David Barraclough in fourth. Joris Theilen in fifth. Marjan Hellingers in sixth. And Fevzen Ozkin in sixth position in class. So it actually, Denny Raints and Darren Seal are neck and neck going into turn number 1. They are side by side as they go through the first turn. Darren Seal looking to take that position away from Tom Thompson. Actually, he's defending his position, against Denny Ratz, and going on the attack against the other car of the number 69 car, the Denny Ratz car. So Darren Seal, Tom Thompson, and Denny Ratz are all hustling their way going towards the hairpin turn, as Denny Ratz does look like he will have the prime position to protect himself, but Tom Thompson, don't count him out under braking as they head towards the hairpin corner, already hitting 150 miles an hour, as it looks like Denny Ratz will be able to continue that position as the rear end snaps out on the car of Darren Seal, the 237 Ford. So he will ultimately be out of the fight, but not for nothing. He is perfectly fine as far as the car is concerned. A little heat on the tires, but that shouldn't affect him too much. So Denny Ratz in that Radicals car is fighting over Tom Thompson now here, as Denny Ratz will continue perhaps trying to pull up under the Ozkin Ford GT of Fevzgen Ozkin. So Denny Ratz looking to close up on Ozkin, as we'll look through the rest of the field here, as everyone still seems to be going quite smoothly here, looking through rather quickly. Everyone still seems to be right involved, as Oguz Akant, the number 5 car, the number 5 Corvette, will be going around David Desroches as they actually go too wide into corner number 1. They'll hold it actually through corner number 1, but I'm sure David will have to concede that position, which he does, and that allows Tim Claessens to catch right on up, as Oguz will pull away, hopefully down the stretch here, but that draft don't knock it, as that Corvette of David Desroches will look to regain that position, possibly going into the hairpin. No, there's nothing in it. So with Akant just ahead, actually David Desroches will have it. His rear end will skip out. Tim Claessens has to, for the second time, woe up his pony, and he will almost wreck it there, as Boldrin, the 808 of Boldrin, will look to possibly pass, but he will not do it, as it is just turning into a little bit of a melee back here for the 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. So as we bring that onto your screens, I'll just have, as the cars are all streaming best, I'll take a quick glance here. That seems to be the battles that we have right now at the very least, but it is very exciting, as we have already with just this lap. We will reach halfway through this 20-minute event, as already it's taken its toll on me pretty obviously, as Paul Ilbrink is, I don't think anyone will ever catch the GT1 class, will probably not catch the GT1 class, or the GT2 class, excuse me, this race. So this is a full 2 different race sprint here, as it looks like Darren Seal is still looking to fight against Arthur Hermont, as they go through the carousel, but there's actually a little bit more of a gap there than I thought there was. So right behind them, though, is Aiden Pike and Remco Moat. Moat is hovering right behind the very light blue Ford of Aiden Pike, the number 1 car in the Ford GT2 class. His car number is 1. He's not in position number 1 in the Ford GT class. But no, Aiden Pike, though, is holding off. Right now, Remco Moat is, it actually looks like Moat doesn't have anything in it going into Canada Corner. But for right now, actually, Moat will pull a little wide, but that's all right. That'll give Aiden a little bit of breathing room, but make no mistake, as these cars cross the start-finish line once again here, as David Barraclough and Joris Theilen will spar off going through turn number 1. Turn number 1 really seems to be the place to do it, at least with these cars here today. Of course, the draft being so important with that extraordinarily long Road America front stretch, but right now, David Barraclough is just holding off Joris Theilen, the number 16 Joris Theilen, in the Ford class as they go under the Sargento Bridge, heading towards turn number 5. So we'll see here as David Barraclough takes an extremely defensive line, and he will almost get a complete pass from Joris Theilen, but Theilen will be the gentleman and can hold his line rather than cutting the nose off of David Barraclough. David will retain that position at number 20 over Joris Theilen. But ultimately, right now, that is the fight for, it says, 20th position, but they are fighting for 3rd. So a very important battle in the GT2 class. So as Paul Ilbrink pulls his number 26 Corvette across the line under the Caterpillar Bridge one more time, his lap time at the line as he hits 160 miles an hour will be a 2:02.697. Nick Thiessen crossing the line with a 2:03.0, so a 0.4 of a second difference just that lap alone. But don't count him out. Anything can happen. So with that underway, as the rest of the field still seems to be closing right on up on each other, there's still quite a few battles here as we're looking at the 777 car of Maximilian Scheider. Scheider does have Adam Parley on his inside, but Parley will have to back it out as they head toward under the Sargento Bridge. That very yellow and black Corvette, of course, the famous colors of the Corvette racing team, with Adam Parley looking to possibly go on the inside, but there's nothing in it going into the hairpin. He has to woe up his car too much, but Maximilian Scheider, actually, the other way around, he didn't woe his pony up enough, as Adam Parley will get the position by virtue of where he had his car over Maximilian's car. As we are already past halfway, we have got just about 6 minutes and 50 some odd seconds to go here on RaceSpotTV, but this thunderous sprint event is really showing just what a sprint race can be. I think we're getting very, very used to good old-fashioned endurance races now, and I think we forget occasionally we like a good sprint race, as it is simply fantastic looking through the field here, what battles we have as they lay out in front of us. But right now, your 2 leaders in both classes, it's going to be Paul Ilbrink and Nick Thiessen, your 1-2, and Bas Slaab and Stefan Overgaard in your 1-2 for the Ford class. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. This is American Muscle on showcase here at Road America, aptly named, as it is the Corvette GT1 car and the Ford GT2 car are racing on track together. There's 34 cars on track right now, as Paul Ilbrink is continuing to hold it off to pull ahead of Nick Thiessen. His last lap, a 2:02.3. Thiessen's was a 2:02.7. So with that, I think it's needless to say, unless something dramatic happens, Paul Ilbrink just has the next 6 minutes the next 5 minutes and some change to not have any mistakes, and he will have the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge trophy, pennant. I'm not quite sure what we win here, but a high five or something will go to Paul Ilbrink, and rather deservedly, as he is hustling that GT1 car around this Road America course like he owns the place, as Stefan Overgaard is closing right up on Baslab. Live pictures here to Baslab as it is the number 11 versus number 14. Baslab and Stefan Overgaard are fighting for the first position in the Ford GT2 category, as Baslab will hold his line on the inside. Stefan Overgaard, he's not going to be able to pull around, as Overgaard will ultimately, though, have to sit through this section. These cars don't necessarily draft that well, as David Periclau and Joris Stylen in the background are still fighting with each other. Baslab already looks to take the inside line, but he thinks better of it. Stefan Overgaard switches with him. They scissors back and forth once or twice, and then Baslab will hold the line with Stefan Overgaard in his wheel tracks. Joris Stylen and David Periclau, though, will take the turn number 5 complex too wide, but David Periclau has nothing in it, and he will concede the position to Joris Stylen again. Joris still with the overtaking maneuver. He will move up into the 3rd position in the Ford GT class. So Stefan Overgaard is still watching that golden Ford GT that is ahead of him, Baslab, as right now it is just these two tight battles on the field that we can see so far. I'm sure there is something else going on the track as it comes across. Tim Klassens is actually still in a tight battle as he is going past underneath the Caterpillar Bridge, and David Desroches is right behind him. Already the overspeed coming into play here as Desroches, well, he even leans to the inside there, filling up that mirror with that white Corvette, but he thinks better of it, as he was well too far back. Tim Klassens holding the 5th position overall with just about 4 minutes left to go here in the Gathering of Tweakers American Challenge. So looking back to Baslab as they will finish out lap number 8 and start lap number 9. Baslab did a 2:08.3 with Stefan Overgaard a 2:08.6. So they're fighting with each other. Baslab was able to pull away just enough, as going down the start-finish line, Joris Stylen is pulling away a hefty gap over David Periclau. David Periclau just right now nothing in it, but Baslab will still have to defend his position against Stefan Overgaard, but ultimately, though, it is that golden Ford GT2 car that is holding the position, as their time is just about to expire already. I think this isn't going to be the last lap. I believe it's 20 minutes plus the one. Well, it's well, he does have enough time, so there should be one more lap to go. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, as we'll have one more lap, so it will be 10 laps here, as Paul Ilbrink will bring it under the Kohler Bridge through the final couple of corners, and Paul Ilbrink will take the white flag, as he will have just 14 corners, just 4 miles to go in that Corvette C6R. Will be Paul Ilbrink over Nick Thiessen. Nick Thiessen, unless something dramatic happens on this final and 10th lap, Nick Thiessen will finish in the 2nd position, with Bekir Karaka in the 3rd position rather handedly. Looking back to our battle for the first in the Ford GT category, as Baslab is still hustling, still being hustled and harassed by Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard, as they look to Canada corner, Stefan Overgaard closing well up under braking, but that means that Baslab is going to, by that virtue, have a better exit, as he will, but there's really just, it's really just close quarters combat here between Baslab and Stefan Overgaard. I have a feeling that these guys are about to get very cozy with each other, as they themselves have 4 miles to go, 14 turns between Baslab and Stefan Overgaard of who is going to win the Ford GT2 car challenge here at the American Team Challenge, as Baslab, Stefan Overgaard already leaning well out, as he has just enough of the overspeed, but there's nothing in it as for Stefan Overgaard. He doesn't have the speed, as I've said, nothing in it way too many times this broadcast, but Baslab, though, as there's something in it going on the outside of turn number 3, you'll think better of it, though, and Stefan Overgaard will have to back out, and it actually was a smart move by Baslab to allow him to bite that, as now I believe he scrubbed his speed off for turn number 5. So where is Paul Ilbrink? Okay, we'll bring it to Paul Ilbrink when he starts to cross the line. We'll keep our eyes on this lead battle here in the Ford category, as Baslab takes the inside line. Stefan Overgaard, I haven't seen the outside line work So he will have to back it out as they go up towards the Corvette Bridge here at Road America. So with 20 minutes of racing, as Paul Ilbrink will clear, it's corner number 14. He'll lay on the throttle. The ponies are yelling out of the rear end of that Corvette as the noise is deafening. That Corvette is going to win here at the American Team Challenge. It will be Paul Ilbrink in 20 minutes and 31 seconds coming away with the victory, with Nick Thyssen finishing in second, Bekir Karaka finishing in third, and Oguz Akan finishing in fifth. So let's take a look quickly to Baslav. What is going on between these two? They are just going through the kink right now, the very dangerous kink, 130 miles an hour for that corner as Baslav and Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard looks well too far back for anything going into Canada corner as the rest of the Corvette field streams past the start-finish line, which will bring you the results in just one moment's time. Baslav and Stefan Overgaard, though, they are continuing their fight to the bitter end here at Road America. There's not much left for Stefan Overgaard unless he gets an amazing finish here, an amazing pull of speed here. He will not have it. Oh, it looks mighty close. It is going to be a drag race. Where is Boss going to position his car? He's going to keep it straight. Stefan Overgaard is going to come up alongside as they go into the Corvette Bridge. It is going to be a photo finish at the line. It is going to go to Baslav in a 1:03 with a 3.4 and then a 3.44 is the gap between Baslav and Stefan Overgaard. 400ths of a second. That's a 0 before that one. So, oh my goodness, we are going to re-rack it here as the rest of the field will pull through in single file. Joris Thailand will hold over David Barraclough. Denny Ratz as the rest of the field will pull across in single file line as the roar ends here at Road America. It's the Gathering of Tweakers season finale. The American Team Challenge will give you the full results and some quick interviews just after this quick little commercial break. You're watching RaceSpotTV. This is the American Team Challenge with the Gathering of Tweakers season finale. We'll be right back in just one moment's time. Stay with us.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back. This is RaceSpotTV covering the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. That was just round number 1 of this American Team Challenge. So we had our quick little sprint race of the day. Let's go through this results page right now. It's Paul Elbrink in 20 minutes and 31 seconds coming away with a victory over Nick Beeson. Bekir Karaka in 3rd position, Oguza Kent in 5th. In 4th position even. Tim Claessens in 5th. David Desroches in 6th position. Duljan Boldrin in 7th. Adam Parlay in 8th. Maximilian Scheider in 9th. Bram Reiners in 10th position. Raniers even. With Douglas Beard finishing in 11th. Andy Kellens-Reed will finish in the 12th position with Mark Schindel in 13th. Jason Katz in 14th. Mark Figueras in 15th with Martin Green in 16th. And Davey DeHoogie finishing in 17th position. Now switching over to the Ford GT2 category, it is Bas Slaab is just 1 minute and 3 seconds behind the leading Corvette of Paul Elbrink. Just 1/100th of a second between Bas Slaab and Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard almost had him at the line, but it just didn't happen. Joris Theilen finished in 3rd. David Barraclough in 4th. Martin Hillingers in 22nd, or the 5th position in Ford GT, with 6th going to Denny Rantz. Fezgin Ozkin finishing in 24th. Tom Thompson in 25th, which is the 7th, 8th, and 9th positions in the Ford GT class, with Darren Seal, Arthur Herman, Aiden Pike, Remco Moat, Andy Morgan, Eduardo Tomiti, Steve Greenwood, Dustin Hickman, and Ivan Burkeye finishing out the rest of the Ford GT2 fields. Only 2 non-finishers, Dustin Hickman and Efkan Burkeye, were not finishing here today. So, as we will reset them and re-rack them, we are going to talk with a couple of drivers here. We're going to talk first with Paul Elbrink of the Radicals Online team. Paul, it was 20 quick minutes here at Road America, but you're going to re-rack them and do it again.
Yeah, that's the plan. It was a nice race. I was a bit surprised by the pace of Nick in qualifying. He did quite a good lap, and I wasn't able to beat him, but had some nice side-by-side racing, and then I think my car had a bit better top speed, so from there on it was quite easy to drive away and just keep the lead.
Yeah, so don't have to worry about any lap traffic here with races this short, but ultimately, though, you're able to just keep on plugging through, and you got that Radicals car through. Now, well, where do we go from here? You're going to be starting next race on the pole because you finished on the heat here, or what's the plan?
I think that's the plan, yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I just hope to get a comfortable lead, so that I have enough room to make a comfortable pit stop and not have to worry too much about being forced early to change tires, I think. So it should be good.
Well, it should be, well, I mean, I know it's only a 20-minute race, but you still won. Anyone you'd like to thank real quick?
Danny for doing the race with me, and the rest of the team for supporting us.
Right, well, good luck, Paul. We'll see you in the next round.
Okay.
So, with that done just like that, we are going to go over to Bas Slaab. Bas, you've managed to win the drag race here at Road America. I mean, the pressure that Stefan Overgaard was putting on was, it was getting us quite worked up here in the booth. I can only imagine him right behind you.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I got lucky on the start, I guess. Well, we were side by side the whole way on the straight, and yeah, I think he just gave me the corner, and I was thinking I'll get him a bit later, I guess. But yeah, I was able to keep in front of him, so that was nice.
Yeah, so just going through now, we're going to be going to the next round relatively soon. This Ford GT2 car, how did it handle here at Road America?
It was really nice to drive. I had it on really low downforce, and yeah, it was real stable in the corner still, and yeah, I liked it a lot.
All right. Well, is there anyone you'd like to quickly thank out there?
Yeah, Nick for driving with me, and for the organizers for a gathering of tweakers for a nice race again, and yeah, everybody involved, all the marshals. So thank you.
All right. So with those interviews out of the way, we are going to re-rack them and we're going to reset it here on RaceSpotTV. So, you are watching the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge, as we all funnel through to the next round of the American Team Challenge. We'll be right back for more action here with the Corvettes and the Ford GT2 cars. Stick right with us. We're going to be back in just one moment's time.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing. Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, you know, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, you know, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. You know, it's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and you know, the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and you know, every year I've come here, this being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race. So it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads. So when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
Yes, it all starts here. It's opening day for the Verizon IndyCar Series.
From St. Petersburg, Florida, new cars, some new faces, and an old, solid group of veterans and winners.
Get ready, stay with them here.
They call it the Valley of the Sun. They're running laps at 155 miles an hour.
Long Beach, California, a beautiful destination city with a huge sandy beach, great marinas, cruise ships, and once a year, the Verizon IndyCars.
The spectacular undulating Barber Motorsports Park Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
The acceleration begins.
The new champion of the Grand Prix of Indianapolis is...
Everyone wants to win. Only one will.
And with those millions watching around the world.
By the way, it's the biggest race of your lives, gentlemen.
Here in the Motor City, in the first of the duel in Detroit.
Business is picking up in turn 7 at Belle Isle.
And the green flag waves at Texas Motor Speedway.
All right, let's go.
Wheel to wheel at 210 miles an hour.
And Honda versus Chevy.
Green flag in the air. Sebastian Bourdais is the leader. In the core of America's heartland is a tiny track that packs a speedy IndyCar punch like no other.
Green, green, green.
Well, let's go racing in Iowa.
He needs a penalty.
This is Indy Toronto, and the green flag flies.
Where
he's
it
making
comes.
a move, but he's going to make him go to the west. Deep into turn 3. And maybe too deep.
Welcome to the Buckeye State. Drivers, start your engines!
There is a giant crowd at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
All right, that's it. Excellent job, young man. Excellent job. You won Mid-Ohio.
The tricky triangle is definitely very tricky.
Look at this pack now.
He's not giving him anything. That's how you're supposed to race.
Over Labor Day weekend of 2016, we will welcome and host the Grand Prix of Boston.
It's the Indy Grand Prix of Sonoma. It's the championship decider. It's time to bring the action.
Race fans, there they are.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV. Hello everyone, this is Cameron Walsh with Hugo Louis. Continuing our coverage of the American Team Challenge, we had our quick little sprint race. It was 20 minutes of high intense drama. Now it's time for the main event, the 90-minute race here at Road America. It is going to be, of course, the Corvette C6R and the Ford GT2 cars. So how the American Team Challenge works, we'll explain it as we're just getting set up right now as the session is live. Cars are getting themselves all situated and nice and comfy. As we can see right now, cars are just practicing. What we have is two different classes, the Corvette C6R, as I've said, and the GT2 car. What happens is that each team will have a car in one class. There will be, say, one Radicals car in GT2 and one Radicals car in GT1. So with that, that will be how they determine who comes away with the championship here on the American Team Challenge. So these two American cars with pilots from all over the globe will, as they're setting up their practice times right now, we've got another 2 minutes and some odd seconds to kill before we have an hour and 30 minutes. So let's just quickly go over what had just happened. What we just watched was a 20-minute event. It was obviously a quick race. It was about 10 laps. Paul Ilbrink came away with a win here at the sprint section of this, but now here we are. We are at Road America for the 90-minute race. So we'll see if we can't go take a quick on board with somebody. As we'll actually take a look. We'll go with Stefan Overgaard. We'll go on board with him for a quick little minute as he'll warm his car up around here at Road America. We'll let him just kind of show us around, just in case you forgot in the last 5-minute break that we had what we are getting ourselves ready for. Cars just finishing up their laps right now as we get ready for the grid here at Road America. So as the cars will stroll their way around as they're practicing their pits, as of course pitting is going to be very important. Though all the fuel tanks are not limited, they most certainly do not have 130 minutes, or 130 minutes, oh good God, 90 minutes of fuel, an hour and 30 minutes in translated time. So with 1 hour and 30 minutes to go here, we'll start lining them up on the grid as we'll look through the gridding right now, as we'll allow them to roll their beautiful American beasts onto the track right now for this 90-minute event. No driver swaps. This is a race of course, the single driver, but of course the team. So you'll have, say, somebody like Nick Thyssen in his Gathering the Tweakers Corvette and Paul Ilbrink in his Radicals Corvette. Or you'll have the pink Corvette of Bekir Karaka or Uga Zakant. They all have teammates throughout the entire field. So why don't we take a look now, as it looks like most of the cars are now on the grid. Who is who and where is where? So starting off, it is going to be Paul Ilbrink and Nick Thyssen as they start pulling away behind that golden pace car, that Ford Mustang. Paul Ilbrink, that Radicals car. Nick Thyssen outside the Gathering of Tweakers car, as it will be Bekir Karaka in third, Ogu Zakant in fourth, Tim Claessens in fifth, David Desroches in sixth, Duljon Boldrin in seventh, Adam Parlay in eighth position, Maximilian Scheider in ninth, Bram Raniers in 10th position, Douglas Beard in 11th, Andy Collins-Reed in 12th, Jason Katz in 13th, Mark Figueres in 14th position, Martin Green is in 15th, and David DeHoogie is going to be starting in 16th position from pit road. So Baslav, well, he came away with a win just 5-6 minutes ago. He's back in the car now, and he is going to be starting that position in the Ford GT2 car. It is Baslav with Stefan Overgaard on his outside. So that HBH total car will be starting on the outside. Hopefully he can get past this time, he's thinking, but Baslav is looking to hold him off, as Joris Theilen in that Phoenix Racing car is seated in third, David Barraclough in fourth, Martin Hillingers in fifth, Denny Raines in sixth, Fevizin Ozkin in seventh, Tom Thompson in eighth, Darren Seal in ninth, Arthur Hermot in 10th, Hayden Pike in 11th, Remco Moat in 12th, Andy Morgan in 13th, Eduardo Tomiti in 14th, Steve Greenwood in 15th, Dustin Hickman in 16th, and Afkin Berkai in 16th as far as the Ford GT cars go. It is 33 cars going around here as they are, as the GT cars are now starting to leave a gap from the Corvettes, as they are supposed to, as the field is just gathering themselves up as they go through this 14-turn 4-mile track. If you're just seeing it for the first time, where have you been? You've missed an entire 20-minute sprint race, as they are now just circling their way around the carousel. So as they come down the extraordinarily long straight, we'll take in the sights and the sounds of this pacing field before we let them go for 90 minutes here at Road America. It's the American Team Challenge, the Gathering of Tweakers season finale. The pace car is ready to veer off to the side, which he does. Paul Ilbrink has the field under his right button. He will hold off for just one moment's time, but he will let them go. Paul Ilbrink getting the jump on Nick Thyssen, as he has left the field. That Radicals car already with a gap before they even pull the line. Nick Thyssen already taking the defensive line to the inside, as Oguzaken will possibly look to go on the outside, but he will not, as Bekir Karaka will pull across the field, and he'll go back to a safe position. Tim Claessens also following. So we have one car that is already off the track there. That is the pass left racing of Jason Katz, as we look to the GT2 field, and already, all very close issues between the GT2 car of Joris Theilen and David Barraclough. These guys were racing all yesterday, all last race, all 20 minutes of it. as Boslab is looking to pull away, as it is a group of 4 Ford GT2 cars as they go down the front stretch, not the front stretch, as they go down the Moraine sweep here at Road America. They're going 2 by 2, and Boslab is going to love that, as that will give him quite the gap, as they'll slide in. Somebody's going to have to yield at some point. Stefan Overgaard will not. Oh, they come so close to touching it. They do. David Barraclough gets touched. He'll collect the Phoenix Racing car, as David Barraclough and Phoenix both have an incident. We'll see if we can't get that for you on replay, as a couple of other cars have spun out as a result of the incident there. But Joris Stanlin now pulled over on the side of the road. His day, oh no way, his day is going to be done, as we are looking through the onboard of David Barraclough, as I'm not quite sure what we're going to see there, as he gets doored by Martin Hillinger's, which is not to say Martin Hillinger's wasn't trying to stay as far to his left as he could. His wheels were on the curbing, but he ended up having a bump into David Barraclough's car, as we'll look back to live pictures now, as the wreck has already happened. It is already, just like that, changed the entire face of this race, as Boslab is still going to hold on to it. But if you look behind him, it's a ghost town. You've got Stefan Overgaard just behind, which is to be expected, but Joris Stanlin and David Barraclough, Joris Stanlin is going to be out. David Barraclough, though, well back, with the rest of the GT2 field having split as a result of that. So people looking to capitalize that. Denny Wright will look to capitalize that Radicals car, as he has picked up some damage there, probably from that incident, as the leaders have already rolled well past the start-finishing line, as they go down the Moraine sweep through corner number 3 underneath the Sargento Bridge. Paul Ilbrink, though, holding a steady lead over Nick Thyssen and Oguz Akent. Akent looking in that number 5 car, that pink and black car, with the flames on it. With Nick is chasing Nick Thyssen down, as Bekir Karaka, also in a pink Corvette, is getting hounded by Tim Klassen. So as the Corvette field is still streaming, they're still mostly side by side. Boslab, though, he actually has Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard wasting no time to try and get past, as he will take his number 14 Ford to the front of the field. For just right now, at least, front of the GT2 field as it is, but he runs wide, and Boslab will be able to counter on the outside. Will it happen? No. So Stefan Overgaard, even though he has dropped the wheel into the dirt, he is going to retain that first position. So the Stefan Overgaard car of the Ashbury Motorsports car will be pulling away. We'll be trying to pull away from Boslab, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Martin Hillinger's looking on in third through the carousel. So, but just like that, the biggest thing right now, Joris Thielen, after just one lap, I mean, he's getting towed. They're going to fix the suspension, but it has just been, it didn't even make one lap out of an hour and 30-minute race. That is extremely unfortunate, but when you have highly competitive racing like this, incidents do happen. I'm not necessarily sure if there's really any blame to put, as Paul Ilbrink will pass Joris Stanlin, who is currently parked in the pits. But Paul Ilbrink, that number 12 Radicals car, is looking to hold on to that lead, picking up right where he left off. Nick Thyssen still sitting squarely in second position, as Maximilian Scheider is looking to close up on Adam Pearl. Pearl in that, it's almost a golf liveried car. The bright blue and orange colors are at least familiar to that call sign, but it is the Legends Racing car of Adam Pearl, as he'll follow in the wheel tracks of Duljon Boldrin of the 8 or 80 team, 8 or 80 car, as he's actually in the 808 car. How they plan these things. So Adam Pearl, he's just looking to probably close up here. I don't think you'd want to do anything too crazy. As I just said, it's an hour, it's going to be an entire hour and 30 minutes of racing here, as these cars are still fighting. David Barraclough fighting despite that damage. He has Aiden Pike on his rear end. Aiden Pike may perhaps looking to possibly go around the outside through the chicane. He'll think better of it. There's Davey DeHoogie. And somebody has gone off. Who is that? That is one of the GT2 cars. That is Eduardo Tomedi. Tomedi has spun it and hit the 880 Ford car, as it just looks like, well, it just looks like he lost the rear end after his front, any of the front air that he had was removed by David Barraclough. Barraclough having closed the door on Aiden Pike. Actually, excuse me, I take that back. I mistake that car, as it was Ivan Burkeye there, who had closed the door on him, and ultimately when the rear end spooled up, he went out and he went kicked into the wall. So the 880 already having an incident, as Joris Leland has retired, so that'll severely hurt the Phoenix Racing's chances of coming away with the American Team Championship, as he will be the first retirement of the race, and a very, very unfortunate one at that. So, looking through the field, you got Stefan Overgaard in the Ford GT2 class. He is leading right now as they go under the bridge. Actually, he's not leading at all. Baslav has managed to get the position back from him, as I completely, we were busy with the incident there. We were not missing of that one, but Baslav has worked his way back up front. I actually take a quick little look and see whereabouts this came about, as they'll come through the first turn right now, as it looks like this was done quite some time ago. Through turn number 5, Baslav was able to accomplish the corner, which they are heading to as a result right now. So, as Baslav will hold over Stefan Overgaard. Stefan Overgaard already looking to the outside. He's leaning his Ford GT2 car to the outside already, about 150 miles an hour. They'll whoa it up on the brakes. And Overgaard almost had the entire position taken away, but he decided not to cut the nose off of Baslav, which is kind of the way to do things. You'd rather these guys play nicely, seeing as Joris Thailand has already been removed from this race forcibly, which was very unfortunate. So, Baslav in for Stefan Overgaard is now back into second position, with Martin Hillingers just slowly is keeping himself involved. He's allowing these guys to battle with each other, and as a result, he is going to stay in the battle, at least in contention. So, with that, Favizkin Ozgen is in 19th position, which is good enough for 4th in the Fords. With Dustin Hickman in 5th in the Fords, that SimRT.ee car. Very familiar logos and yellow and black on that car. With Denny Rantz. Denny Rantz there in the 69 car, the Radicals Ford car. He's nursing a little bit of left front damage. Not quite sure if that's given him suspension damage or not, but if anything, it is definitely not going to be helping. So, as just looking through the rest of the field here, as there are still battles brewing, but mostly it is Baslav and Stefan Overgaard picking up right where they had left off, as Baslav will have nothing for the drafted power of Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard and his Ford will be looking to go onto the inside, which he will get the position. He parks his car on the apex, and that will force Baslav to back it off just enough. But the door is still open for turn number 3, but he'll think better of it. So Stefan Overgaard resuming where he left off just a few laps ago, but will Baslav be able to counter going as they go down the Moraine Sweep and under the Sargento Bridge? The drag race will continue into the braking zone as they are side by side. Stefan Overgaard working his brakes. Oh, the rear end just kicking out 1, 2, 3 times. He kicks it out, and Stefan Overgaard will lose more than just second. Martin Hillingers will look to take second position, but Stefan Overgaard will quickly quash that one. Actually, no, he won't. He'll push wide underneath the Corvette bridge corner, and Martin Hillingers will come up into second position. He started 21st overall, and that'll pump him up to 17th overall. So net positions to Martin Hillingers. A great run already, having that incident unfold ahead of him between Joris Thelen and the rest of the front-running GT2 field. So Martin Hillingers is looking to capitalize on the mistake of Stefan Overgaard, but we'll see how long he can hold this. And if you're Baslav, you absolutely love that, as the dots in his mirror get smaller and smaller from them fighting. So as Stefan Overgaard is already looking to retake that position going into the Canada Bend corner, it will not be Canada. I said Canada Bend. It's Canada corner, as it's Bill Mitchell Bend. There we go. As Martin Hillingers and Stefan Overgaard will be moving through their positions, but Overgaard is he just doesn't have anything in it. But maybe he'll have something going on up the straight. Looking around the rest of the field, though, everyone still seems to be quieted down. The Corvette field is still quite quiet, as Overgaard is looking to go on the inside of Martin Hillingers. Hillingers? I'm pretty sure it's Hillingers, as it is the car number 8 versus car number 14. Right now, Martin will have that position up, as he will continue to resume being in second place in the Ford GT2 category. Now, don't forget, it's not necessarily where you finish on your own to come away with the American Team Challenge trophies, at least I think it's a trophy. Probably not a trophy, but at least something, a high five. The congratulations of winning the American Team Challenge. There we go. It is going to be up to not only Martin Hillingers, but also Martin Hillingers' teammate. So we'll look through for an extraordinarily similarly colored Corvette, and I'm sure that are going to be the two drivers that are worked together, and that is how this American Team Challenge worked. Perhaps it's Adam Pearl. That is an extraordinarily similarly colored car, as there are just some changes over the last week have not necessarily helped us out, but you know what? The overall product, I have to say, has gotten better as iRacing's last patch or update or build, or whichever language you want to use, added quite a couple of things. Added another short track, which is of course always in high demand. It added the Nürburgring Nordschleife and the Nürburgring GP Strecke. So that was a big addition, as well as the McLaren MP430 Formula One car. But as with that, there are always going to be little growing pains, so we'll just deal with it as it is. But just looking at Paul Ilbrink, because I believe, he is still just ahead of Nick Thiessen. It's not by far at all. We'll actually see if we can't go on board with Nick Thiessen as we follow him through a lap of where he is here at the hairpin. Now, this hairpin throughout this whole section here to the start-finishing straight is so very important, as you can just see the Radicals car of Paul Ilbrink just ahead, and I don't think you can see the rear view camera, but if you could, it would be Oguza Kent following, as they will pass Eduardo Tomiti, the damaged Ford GT2 car that had that earlier incident. And as they go under the Speedville Bridge, they'll get through the carousel, and they will hit the kink and then go down towards Canada Corner. Well, it might not be the start-finish straight, but this is where we left off just one lap ago with Nick Thiessen. So Paul Elbrink is still just dead ahead, but ultimately, though, Nick Thiessen's pace is still right on par with Paul Elbrink. So perhaps as the battle goes forward, maybe Nick Thiessen will have something for Paul Elbrink, as the rest of the field will still continue to come through. I'm sure at some point here, though, sometime soon, there's a 40-second gap between the final Ford GT runner and the front-running Corvette runner. So we'll have to see if when lap traffic will come into play, as we are almost, we're about 2 or 3 laps away from being 20 minutes into this race, which is where we stopped at the last sprint race, as Nick Thiessen, as we look at the 235 car of Adam Parle. Adam Parle is looking to, he's made a incident or a move on him. I see what has happened. It wasn't the 235 car, it was David Desroches in the 204 car. He had an incident there. He went well wide. Oh, well wide. Well overcooked his corner as there was a Ford GT on the outside line, but David Desroches will come away with it unscathed after going off onto the dirt, as Maximilian Scheider will be just ahead of David Desroches, as he'll go around Eduardo Tamiti. Tamiti giving him the yield, as David Desroches will pass on this underneath the Sargento Bridge, Sargento being a cheese company here in America, but probably international too, I would imagine. So it's Dujan Boldrin, Adam Parley, and Maximilian Scheider, with David Desroches following, as Eduardo Tometi has spun it once again in the exact same position as he did at the beginning of the race, losing that rear end. That's unfortunate for Eduardo. Perhaps those wheels just getting a little toasty as he's trying to make room for the Corvette cars as they come by. So as Paul Elbrink leads, still leading right now over Nick Thiessen. Nick Thiessen running a 203.8 with to Paul Elbrink's 204.3. Ultimately, though, it is just going to be one of those things where can Nick Thiessen pass, and does he want to pass? I think I would be enjoying the fuel-saving benefits over the as both the front ends get a little loose and wiggly coming out of the final corner here at Road America. That's, of course, turn number 14 out of this 4-mile stretch of landscape that we all call Road America, which hopefully you guys are enjoying it just as much as we are here in the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. Of course, this is Cam Walsh with Hugo Louis, bringing you guys the live coverage of the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. This is phase number 2 of the Team Challenge. This is the 90-minute Enduro, as we just had a 20-minute sprint, which was won by that man there of Paul Elbrink in that Radicals car. But Nick Thiessen is looking to challenge right now from Paul Elbrink. Oh, he's looking to challenge quite heavily, but he will have to back it off. He'll go well wide over the curbings there, but there's just nothing in it for that Corvette, as the Radicals car will be able to continue to lead this event. Looking back just a couple of positions back, it's Bekir Karaka and Tim Claessens. Tim Claessens will have that position over Karaka in the 73 car, so that 451 black and pink Corvette will move himself up into 4th position, as Tim Claessens will be able to hold that throughout the carousel quite easily. So he'll be move him up 1 position into the 4th position. Of course, he started in 5th, so he's doing fairly well. I mean, if you're moving up, just better moving up than falling away. But I do have to say that both Tim and Bekir have lost the rear end of Oguza Kent, the number 5 pink and black flamed Corvette. But hey, they are still racing pretty handedly. Looking back down the field, perhaps we could look to see what the status of Boslav is. Boslav looks to be quite ahead of Stefan Overgaard, as there is about a 5 or 6 second gap. Not quite sure what has happened there, but it's fairly obvious that Stefan Overgaard must have had an incident, or, well, not necessarily an incident. The car looks completely fine, but he must have lost the rear end and spun it. So, with Stefan Overgaard having been pushed away by that 5 or 6 seconds, Dustin Hickman is in second in that SimRC.EE car, with Fevzikin Ozkin looking behind. Where did third place car of wondering what has happened here. Somebody, who was it? Aiden Pike? No, it was not. The tan and the Gulf liveried Ford I was talking about earlier, as somebody has looped it. Andy Collins-Reed has looped it. Oh, he's blown an engine. Andy Collins-Reed has had a very bad incident somewhere along the track. His Corvette is significantly damaged, and boy, does it look it. That thing is very, very much so worse for wear. That's not how that left the factory, as Denny Rice will almost rear-end the car, but the field will slowly track by as ultimately Andy Collins-Reed will get that car as far as he can get it into that pit lane. It still seems to be gaining speed, so for what it's worth, maybe they can save the engine as the cheek lights blink on and off to signify Andy Collins-Reed has brought that number 17 Corvette into the pits. So we're looking at the number 237 car. This is the car of Darren Seal. Darren Seal, oh, he's having an incident right now, actually. Good time to cut to him, Jesus. As Darren Seal will have that incident, it looks like he's gotten rear-ended by Efkin Burkay. They're both fighting for the same strip of real estate. Burkay was trying to get the better exit off of the corner number 3, and Darren Seal was skipping the rears off of the curbing, and it just didn't work out for sure, as Seal will have to spin his GT2 around, and he will get that back on track. He's going to still be, he's going to have lost a position to Tom Thompson has taken that position away in that white Ford GT, so Darren Seal drop him back one position as just like that. Boslav still having that 5-second gap over Stefan Overgaard. It's quite interesting to see how that's developing. I think it was originally higher, but perhaps Overgaard is just doing a fantastic job of really just keeping track of what he has to do to keep Stefan Overgaard in check as far as lap times go. But keeping that 5-second gap down is also important, as Boslav will start to run lap number 12 here at Road America. We'll see if we can't go on board for just one lap just to see how these peddlers wheel this Ford GT2 car around this sim racing track. Dustin Hickman with the lap time of a 2:08 or 2:09 even, 0.4. A rather slow lap for Dustin Hickman, as that's allowed Stefan Ovengard to have gotten away, but Efgen Burkay was black flagged for avoidable contact, that incident that we had described just a few laps ago already, coming down with a decision. The marshals are. So he will have to come in and serve that penalty as we still look on to the battles here on the field. Andy Morgan and Tom Thompson are having a battle here as they head into turn number 1. That's white Tom Thompson Ford GT, and Andy Morgan's, it has a Race Spot logo on it, so I immediately have to like it. I believe it's the 4X racing car of Andy Morgan, and Tom Thompson is fighting for that position. They're pursuing Aiden Pike right now, hitting just about 160 miles an hour before they hit the that braking zone going into the hairpin corner. Andy Morgan keeping that car nice and tight. It'll actually, it almost looks to go to the inside of Aiden Pike up to Corvette, but it does not happen. Aiden Pike will continue to resume to hold position number 23 in the overall field of things. That's about position say a 7th or 8th in class, as Aiden Pike is still trying to hold off Andy Morgan and Tom Thompson, as both of these guys, as the WR racing car of Steve Greenwood is just ahead. Wouldn't surprise me if as time goes on they caught each other, as the lap times from Andy Morgan and Tom Thompson are just are very, very quick indeed. They just go through the kink. It's definitely not flat out in these cars, but it will come up to Canada corner. Aiden Pike and Andy Morgan. Morgan looking to the inside line. He'll lay on the brakes early, as you have to, which will make Aiden Pike have to go wide, which will give Morgan the opportunity to complete the pass, which he does. So can Morgan make it stick through Bill Mitchell's? Yes, he can, as well, Pike will almost look to counter going into the final corner, but it is just not going to work, as Andy Morgan will pull that one out, and he will move up into position number 23 with some room to grow, as just looking around from the rest of the field right now, Tim Claessens and Bekir Karaka are, well, they're not really, they're part of the top 5. Tim Claessens is in 5th, Bekir is in 4th. As you look behind, it's Adam Parle and Maximilian Scheider. Scheider in that 777 car is sitting, waiting in the wings, hoping that his interest in pursuing the better apexes and the better lines will work in his favor, and he will be able to catch right up to the rear end of Adam Parle. It should, based on the lap times, actually Maximilian Scheider at 205.666 with Adam Parle's 205.541. So Maximilian Scheider, as they go down the long stretch here at Road America, they're going to go towards turn number 5, and we'll have to see if they're going to take it too wide. Yes, they will. Maximilian Scheider is looking to possibly get around the outside line. Oh, they come so close. It couldn't have been more than half a foot between the two cars, but Adam Parle will be able to maintain that position heading towards the Corvette Bridge. Adam Parle being able to get onto the power efficiently, more efficiently than Maximilian Scheider. But ultimately, though, they will be coming up onto the rear end of Andy Morgan. Andy Morgan, this is actually a bit of a strange twist of fate. What has happened? What has befallen Andy Morgan? As Morgan has had an incident somewhere, as he has damaged that left front here, and I'm trying to figure out where. Oh, he had a massive incident. As the Corvettes will stream on past Andy Morgan. What ended up happening is Aiden Pike, as I can't get a replay, I figured that's all right, as Aiden Pike was on the inside line going in through turn number 1, as that caused the incident there, is ended up being with Andy Morgan just ahead, as actually the leaders, the Corvette leaders, were just ahead of that, but Andy Morgan ended up getting the worst of that one for certain. So he's got that little bit of front end damage. The lead cars, the lead Corvettes going through the field now, as Paul Olbrink has managed to pull quite a gap over Nick Thiessen. Nick Thiessen a second and a half slower that last lap by, which is just another all-important lap towards getting Paul Olbrink that 130-minute championship trophy thing. So as he'll actually start he'll start approaching his teammate Denny Reitz. Reitz has just cleared the turn before the Corvette bridge, turn number 5, whereas Paul Olbrink is just entering it. So I'm relatively certain that that Ford GT will just hop out of the way when when his teammate, the bigger, badder Corvette C6R, comes to get through. Now, as we continue the battle between Stefan Overgaard and Dustin Hickman, Hickman is still on the attack. He still wants to get through to that second position, as Baslav has now run away with it. You can't even see them in the rear view. So with Stefan Overgaard, as they'll go up the line here just one more time, as it will be Stefan Overgaard and Dustin Hickman. Hickman looking to close that up here at Road America. You can definitely do that with a mile-long stretch, but it just won't be in the cards this lap, lap number 16, as we are already half of an hour. We are 1/3 into this event, and it has been lightning quick just like that. So now that we are 1/3 of this event through, we'll see if we can't take a quick commercial break. Actually, we can't take the commercial break. The action's kicking up well too much, as David Barraclough and the 19 car of Ozkin were side by side going through the turn number 3, turn 1 and 2 and 3 for that matter. So they'll head into turn number 5 though, with Ozkin there sitting relatively close behind, as they'll go down in through the braking. Fevzikin, Ozkin looking to get through, but it's just not going to happen this time, as they were battling rather heavily going into the start of this lap. The Torque Freak racing car of David Barraclough just being able to make that position up on the inside of turn number 1, which is a very popular place to do that, if I can be so honest. So David Barraclough picks up that position, as the rest of the field still looks to be fighting for quite a few positions. Mark Figueras and Martin Green are fighting the WR Racing Corvette, as well as the very golden sim experience for it. It is the 4X racing car, as I had presumed, with a very, very nicely painted livery there. It's got like the green skull, the green Corvette racing skull on it. But ultimately, though, that Corvette is still just relatively stuck behind the native colors of Martin Green, as that is the WR Racing car. As it's actually, it almost looks festive, really, here for America. I know it's not, but I think that's almost funny. But Mark Figueras will, as they go through turn number 5, he won't look to get past. He'll just sit squat right behind, as he'll accept that he lost that position, and they'll look to fight later on, as this is the 17th lap here, as Paul Olbrink will follow through, and he will go underneath the Caterpillar Bridge, and he will complete lap number 17 and start lap number 18. We're going to see if we can't take that break I was mentioning earlier, and we can go to a quick commercial. We'll be back in just one moment's time. You are watching the Gathering of Speakers season finale, the American Team Challenge, here on RaceSpotTV. Welcome back to the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. Hello everybody, this is Cameron Walsh with Hugo Louis. We are bringing you live coverage of this 90-minute race here. We are already 37 minutes in, and just in time as Paul Ilbrink brings his Corvette in from the lead. The cheek flashers go on in that Radical's Corvette will approach pit lane. It is a 44 miles an hour, an agonizing 44 miles an hour, but off in the distance you can see the black and pink flashing lights of Oguz Akant will, as he also will come into the pits. Denny Ratz will pass his teammate through as his Radical's Ford GT will not come into the pits there, but Paul Ilbrink taking the first slot as he actually has to back into his pit stall. That is awful. That will cost him quite a bit of time as they will go to service on that Corvette car, as the little blinking light on the top, of course, signifying just that, as we'll get the pit timer up for you right now, as the Steel Series Radical car will plop it into drive, and he'll get ready to go with a full tank of fuel, and he is off and away at a 26.3 second pit stop. That will be, let's see, well, he just about made 40 minutes. He just under 40 minutes of fuel, so it's about 38 minutes of fuel plus a pace lap, so he should be able to make another 40 minutes, but that's only going to be 80 minutes. So that will have to be another pit stop, obviously another pit stop here, as if he can make it another 40 minutes, he still's got another 10 minutes to go, so there will most certainly be a 10-minute window of needing the fuel. So as Paul Ilbrink pulls that car back on the track just behind Jason Katz of the Pass Left Racing team, that number 11 Corvette, the yellow and black. Yellow and black, a very familiar Corvette color. Oh heavens, as Jason Katz will almost lose the, well, he does lose the rear end, but he almost takes out the car, the Radicals car. Oh heavens, that would have been very drastic there, as Jason Katz will manage to keep the car together, and he will continue and to survive another day, as in fact, actually, Paul Ilbrink broke the car and really passed him on the right, or actually it was driver's left. I'm not sure, seeing as the arrow seems to be pointing. Anyways, as the Paul Ilbrink will then go past a couple of Ford GT2 cars, as he's most certainly got to be fully awake now, as he looks to continue his move up, his conquest there, to see if he can get both the sprint race and the full 90-minute endurance race here at Road America in the American Team Challenge. But it's Nick Thyssen who leads right now in the Gathering of Tweakers, aptly named, the Gathering of Tweakers car, the Corvette, of course that dark blue Corvette that you can see on the Neo Endurance Series. The Neo Endurance Series, of which just 1 week from today we'll be heading down to Watkins Glen, a track that I personally love, for another 6-hour event. And actually, the Gathering of Tweakers, the Gathering of Tweaker Endurance Series, the GES, will also be there for a 3-hour endurance race on Saturday. So if keep your eyes on the schedules, as we'll be bringing you, of course, all of these events on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. So with that out of the way, we'll re-rack them, we'll restack them after that commercial break. We'll let you know where everybody is, as I believe the pit window is open, so things are going to be very fluid. Perhaps Nick Thyssen will come in this time, but until then, we'll go through the list. So after 41 minutes of racing, it is Nick Thyssen in first, but it is ultimately Paul Ilbrink who has the pace, as Bakir Karaka is in second, Adam Parle in third, Maximilian Scheider in fourth, Tim Klassen's in fifth, Douglas Beard in sixth, Bram Reiner's in seventh position. Paul Ilbrink, who had just pitted, he's only dropped himself down to eighth. That's how far ahead he is. Jason Katz is in ninth position, whom he almost had that incident with that Pass Left Racing Corvette. Oguz Akant in 10th position, Mark Figueres in 11th position, as somebody's kicked up a bit of smoke, but Doljan Bolderin in the 12th position. Martin Green is in 13th and on pit road. He's actually just leaving in that W1 Racing car, that 158 car. So that is the Corvette field as it stands. Davey DeHoogie already well down and a lap down. David Desrolches also, as Nick Thyssen is coming into the pits, as he actually just passes David. Barraclough, though, he's on pit road. Not quite sure why, but he's 2 laps down, and I don't think I saw a driver in that car. No, he is out of that car. So David Desroches is very unfortunate there, but Nick Thyssen, they're getting the fuel in that #1 Corvette, and they're looking to get that car out. Where is Paul Ilbrink? Paul Ilbrink should be arriving momentarily as he is actually going up the straight right now. Oh, heavens, this is going to be a massive gap as Nick Thyssen is still on the pits, and Paul Ilbrink will go back to lead, and then that car comes to life as he'll kick it, and he will get that thing going through the gears to go towards turn #1. He comes out on a clean track just behind Tom Thompson, the Ford GT, with quite a bit of front-end damage there, but it will be quite the gap between him and Paul Ilbrink, a 30.5. That is a 4-second difference between Paul Ilbrink and Nick Thyssen. So Paul Ilbrink probably realizing timing his final pit stop right, perhaps maybe Nick Thyssen's calculations will go better. That's the interesting thing of these Corvette cars, these GT1 cars, the strategy that is going to be involved. There will be another pit stop, but when and where? So Paul Ilbrink, though, pulling out ahead of Nick Thyssen as the number 235 is building up in a battle with the as Adam Parlow and Maximilian Scheider, I believe, are still fighting their positions as he's catching up to Bekir Karaka. This has been going on all race long. The 235 of Adam Parlow. He has been working very hard in that Legends Racing Corvette to get that car up through the field, and he has worked it. He has started in 8th position. He is now up to 3rd as Maximilian Scheider is just behind him in that the SimRC.de car. Of course, SimRC, a name that if you watch the Neo Endurance Series or really any of the big Endurance Series, you are going to be familiar with their name. As I have to say, as Maximilian Scheider does bring the car down pit road, Adam Parlow does not. So we'll have to keep an eye out who dips in the pit and who comes out. So I do have to say things have gotten rather drastic here in the broadcast booth. I have elected to remove my chair. I could not stand sitting anymore as Maximilian Scheider brings that 777. So things are getting a little dramatic here. I've decided to get rid of the chair over the over that last commercial break. Hopefully standing up is exactly what I need. Maybe that's why all those endurance racing commentators do it. But we'll have to see as we go on through this race. So Maximilian Scheider is getting the fuel in that car that he's going to need to get himself to the 2nd pit stop that he will definitely want to get to. Of course, is it's all about when and where you take that final pit stop, I think. Where is 29.3 for Maximilian Scheider? Where is he going to come out? Oh, he looks like he's going to come out just at the same time as a Ford GT. This is, oh no, it's Dulejan Boldrin. Boldrin is going to be coming out just behind. Boldrin hasn't come in for the pits yet. So, he'll hold it up there just enough for Maximilian Scheider to get through, and then they will continue their battle. They will continue to go down the road. They're not battling with each other. There's obviously they're on different strategies. So we haven't really talked about the Ford GTs at some point. We must. They are going to be coming into the pits at some point. Bas Slob, though, just crossing the start-finish line is not, but Dustin Hickman, the teammate of Maximilian Scheider, is. So the alternating headlights are blinking on that Ford GT2 as Dustin Hickman will be bringing his Ford GT2 car into the pits for a service. Now, we'll have to see whether or not these guys get tires or not. I'm not sure what's faster. So they lift the car up, so I'm presuming they're going to get tires, but it's all just a matter of when and where. Obviously, I would presume taking tires. This is a 90-minute race. You can never presume tires to not last, even though it's slightly slower on the tire change. He'll actually start flooring the throttle even beforehand as Adam Parlow will come into the pit lane. And ultimately, it will be for Dustin Hickman a relatively quick pit stop. I think just I definitely think it was faster than the Corvettes. His teammate, as the crew had to service both vehicles, as Hickman there is pulling away down into the pits. I think he's the first GT2 car I have seen into pit road. Bas Slob, Stefan Overgaard, still your front two running cars. As Dustin Hickman, that 3rd position car will be coming out onto the pits on through turn #1. and he will continue his campaign. So, with that, we'll go through some of the GT2 cars as it's Boslab, as I said, still leading. He's led this whole race. Stefan Overgaard is in second position with Dustin Hickman in third. Tom Thompson was in fourth with that damaged Ford with David Barraclough. David Barraclough is now in the... that doesn't seem to make any sense. I thought, oh no, David Desroches. Oh my goodness, I got my Davids mixed up. I wonder I was so confused. David Barraclough, that Torque Freak Racing car, had given me a scare. He's given me a frighten. As David Barraclough will, he's in the fifth position as far as the GT2 field goes. But coming in from position number 1 is headlights, ding-a-linging along, notifying everyone on pit lane, hey, there's a car coming, as if the sound of the engine wasn't enough. But Boslab bringing that Gathering of Tweakers Ford GT2 into the pit lane. We will get the timers up right now as he pulls into the car number 33 pit stall. They will get it up on the air jacks, and we'll have to see exactly what Boslab's crew can do for him right now. That Gathering of Tweakers Ford is getting some work on it. Of course, I don't expect anything out of the norm here. Tires and fuel, and that should be it for him. And that's all he should need for the rest of the race here, which is, well, actually, a 25.4 second pit stop, which is obviously faster than the Corvettes. But these things use less fuel, and I imagine are quite a bit lighter. So that's all he's going to need is... he'll pull out and he'll get it underway. Nobody's coming out behind him, so Boslab is on his own, and so is Stefan Overgaard. Now, if you're Overgaard, what will happen? How do you... you got to really challenge yourself to push your car just as hard as you can to really get that thing up ahead, as it looks like Stefan Overgaard is doing just that. That number 14 car, as he is in 13th position overall, but he is leading the Ford GT2 class as they will look to work their way through the pits. So that Stefan Overgaard car from the Asbury Motorsports team is working very, very hard to try and get that car up. But what of his teammate, as Stefan Overgaard, of course, with how the American Team Challenge goes, is that you have a car from each team, and I'm not necessarily sure if he does. If he does, he's not on track right now, so normally you just go by liveries. So maybe, unfortunately, Stefan Overgaard's teammate was not able to make it, which would be unfortunate, as Stefan Overgaard is making that final corner right now. That Asbury Motorsports car is leaning in, and that Ford GT2 car will come on down pit road one more time here. I'm not necessarily sure these Fords are going to have to come in for a second time. They've made 50 minutes. So really 50 and 50, that's what, 100 and... 100, yeah, it should be about right. So it's about 20 minutes short of 2 hours, so that'd be an hour and 40 minutes, obviously. And that would be good. Don't worry, I graduated from an American high school. I'm very intelligent. Thumbs up. So as Stefan Overgaard does pull that car into his pit lane, he will get himself a tank full of fuel. Where is Boslab? We'll have to see if Stefan's in-lap paid off, as Boslab is just making his way up the straight right now. Stefan Overgaard, is still stuck on pit road. The pass isn't even going to be completed. The pass is completed. Boslab at 148 miles an hour past the stationary Stefan Overgaard, and that is going to just simply pull that gap further and further and further away. Stefan Overgaard out of pit road is Boslab in 2 minutes and 50 seconds is out on his outlap. He is now at full speed, as I'm sure his tires are completely warmed up. We'll see what Stefan Overgaard can do in a response. But Dustin Hickman, though, for all that he did, he came into the pits early. It just doesn't seem to be paying off for him. That full yellow Ford GT of Dustin Hickman, as he is still behind Boslab by not by much, but I almost wonder if he's come out ahead of Stefan Overgaard. Oh, he has. So Dustin Hickman, pitting early, has overlapped Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard, the last one to pit out of these front-running 3 cars, and I think he's paying for it, as Up front and leading is Bekir Karaka. Karaka is the only one who hasn't come into the pit lane right now for the Corvettes, the number 73 Corvette, as he is just looking to get probably come in this time by that GT1 car. I thought that they could go a little further than this, perhaps with another full tank of fuel as he comes into the pits this time by. He only has to do the one pit stop, so this perhaps could be the move of the race, and we didn't even know it, as Karaka will come on down pit road past the Caterpillar Bridge. Paul Olbrink, though, he is, well, he's quite a while back there. He's 21 seconds off the rear end of Karaka, and I believe that the pit sequence is actually Paul Olbrink is blowing well by Karaka before he even gets to his pit stall, as Karaka will come into his pits and bring that caller to a halt. Paul Olbrink having blown well past as yes, David Desroches. That's the Corvette that I was wondering about, the teammate of Stefan Overgaard. He broke his brake pedal. As of all of the instruments that you need to pilot an automobile, a brake pedal I hear is fairly important, so I think it's very respectable to pull that car off and not have that thing running, especially when it's a situation like that. So David Desroches, though, unfortunately no longer able to continue the race. So with that, overall, the pit cycle seems to be completed, as Paul Olbrink will resume the lead over Nick Thiessen. As Hugo Louis asking me, if it was NASCAR, who would care about that instrument? Well, some people like to stop. How else are they going to do burnouts, Hugo? How else are they going to do burnouts? So, Nick Thiessen is just about 7 seconds away from Paul Olbrink, which is probably the largest gap Paul has enjoyed so far, as Nick is just going to have to look to settle for second position, as the gap between first, second, and third in the Corvette category is quite staggering at this point. I have to look to where Boss Slob, Dustin Hickman, and Stefan Overgaard is, as their gap on their own is quite steady as well, as it looks like it is right now Boss Slob just ahead of Dustin Hickman by probably about 4 or 5 seconds. So the battles are lengthening out here. We did see in the 20-minute battle what could happen in just 20 minutes, as the number 2 and the number 60 car, Tom Thompson and Steve Greenwood, are fighting with each other. Of course, Steve Greenwood in that WR racing car, and Tom Thompson in that all-white liveried car. I'm not necessarily sure if that's a livery, if it's all white, if I'm honest. But that number 2 car is looking to get, well, he's actually, I think he might even just be letting him go, which is an interesting strategy, I suppose, but perhaps that's just how things go. I don't think the overspeed works to that great of an effect between these Fords, so I just have to say that perhaps Steve Greenwood's a faster car, and he just came in through the pits and was just making his way throughout, which is perfectly fine, as a thing to do is already Steve Greenwood pulling well past Tom Thompson, so I can already say that was a fair decision. But ahead of Steve Greenwood is Darren Seal, and well, his own teammate Martin Green is actually just ahead of them. So the WR racing cars were relatively close together, those white and red striped cars, but as we go through here, we'll see as we just about close out an hour of racing, if we can't get a lap on board somebody, we'll find somebody to bring you a lap of Road America. I believe our last onboard lap was with a Ford, so this time let's see if we can get DE car as he pursues Bekir Karaka for 5th position. Can't bring it with a Corvette. Let's see if we can go on board with a Maximilian Shot. with that from hairpin to hairpin with the car of the 777 of Maximilian Scheider. So as you can see, he's right parked behind Stefan Overgaard as Bekir Karaka was able to make that move on the straight, as Overgaard will move his way out of Maximilian Scheider's way, as actually even before Bekir is Adam Parl. As Adam Parl is that Golf liveried car. I'm sure it's not Golf liveried. I'm sure they're going to be angry at me if I keep saying that. But either way, that Parl car will have to get past Dustin Hickman. Hickman, whom we have gone on board with before. As it's actually funny, we've gone on board with both of them. As actually Pearl goes way wide over the kink. He messes that kink up quite nicely. Dustin Hickman, when a Ford GT2 car passes you and you're in a Corvette, there is a problem, as Pearl will now have Maximilian Scheider to worry about, as they all come up through Canada Corner now, and now it's almost chaos here as Dustin Hickman gets well out of the way of that. But unfortunately for him, Stefan Overgaard is now there fighting for position, is there fighting for second overall. That has allowed Overgaard to go well through, as these three Corvettes are fighting with each other. Bekir Karaka will presume the third position overall, or actually I believe that's the fourth position overall. Yes, he will push his way up in that 73 Corvette to fourth position, with Adam Parl and Maximilian Scheider looking to battle for the the position in turn number 1, position number 5 here in turn number 1. Maximilian Scheider will take it away from Adam Parl, and Dustin Hickman will contain Stefan Overgaard for just one more corner here. But Overgaard is looking to move his way relatively quickly. You've got to take advantage of these opportunities as they come across, as Hickman is just hovering right in front of Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard looking to possibly make the move as the Corvettes blow away into the distance down the long straight, as they will come up on the leader of Boslav. Perhaps one of these Corvettes can use that leading car as a pick to get past their competition, as Adam Parl will, as actually looking behind Stefan Overgaard, is trying to pass Dustin Hickman, and he might have gotten it done, as the 808 of Doljan Boldrin looks on in the distance. Stefan Overgaard has been able to make that position work. He went to the inside for turn number 5, got the better exit angle, and he ended up making the pass going up into the Corvette bridge. So Stefan Overgaard moved him up in the second position overall, as Boslav is still your leader in overall in the Ford division. How about that? As he will go up to second position in the Ford, as that Stefan, and then he goes well wide. He goes well wide for the kink, actually, so will allow Dustin to get a good, Hickman to get a good exit if he can, as actually he's got Boldrin in that Corvette looking to get by. That 88 car will get by, as will he make one Ford? No, he will not. He'll have to back well off, and this is going to be trouble for the GT2 cars, as the GT2 cars are a little better through the corners than these GT1 cars, believe it or not. But ultimately, though, Boldrin will keep his medal, and they will end up going one by one without interfering each other at all, which is exactly what you hope to see in an endurance type race like this, as we have got just about 30 minutes to go. We have already gone an hour and 3 minutes into this race, so we've got about 26 minutes to go here at Road America, and things are heating up at the front of the Ford GT2 field, as the cars are all just keeping their distances from what they can. Dustin is staying just ahead of, well, actually Dustin is just behind Stefan Overgaard. Overgaard having made that position. Hickman, though, the rear end stepping well out, as Hickman has been able to, he lost that position through some good maneuvering from Stefan Overgaard's part, with, and then Overgaard has been able to really push away, as looking up front at the Corvettes, nothing came of the battles that we thought, as Karaka was able to keep the position over Maximilian Scheider, and Parl are just far enough away to where you wouldn't know it if you knew any better. So ultimately, though, Nick Thyssen is still in the second position with Paul Ilbrink. That Radicals Online number 12 car, the black, red, and white Steel Series Radicals Corvette, is leading right now at Road America with just about 25 battles together. 25 minutes to go here, as they will cross the line, and it will be exactly 25 minutes on the dot almost, of racing left here. So we're almost down to just one sprint, but I have to wonder, will they have to come in and pit one more time, or perhaps they had short filled in the start and they filled the tanks to the finish here in their first pit stop. We're not sure, but we are going to find out. I would imagine if they're going to be coming into the pits, that will be in the next 5 to 10 laps here at Road America. So Paul Ilbrink ahead of Nick Thyssen, ahead of Ogo Zakent, ahead of Bekir Karaka. Oh, Karaka is slow. Karaka is slow, and somebody is pulling into the pit lane with a blown engine. Ogo Zakent is falling down the list as he is now on the pit lane. He seems to have blown a motor, and he seems to have really impacted that car. Oh my goodness, we'll see if we can't get a replay of an incident. It's between him and Andy Morgan, a GT2 car. Oh no. So as Atkins, we'll see if we can't get the replay. If not, we'll just have to do our best to describe it here on the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. But Oguz Atkins, it's just such a shame. He was running third position without challenge all race long, and now his day is done. So Oguz Atkins, I don't believe we can get how we're trying. If we can't, that's all right. It's just the basics of what has happened is they were going down the long straight. They were going towards Canada, as no, it doesn't look like we can, which is unfortunate, but that's those things happen. So they were going to Canada corner. There's that slight kink, that slight left-hand kink, as Oguz Atkins was passing Andy Morgan in the 4X racing car. Now they accumulated a 4X there. I have to say, is it just looked like the Corvette was going on the outside of that left-hand bend. He's on the right side of the track, and the speed difference was so great that they just skimmed each other, and it sent Oguz into the outside concrete wall and blew his engine. He traveled the rest of that course laying that thick black smoke, and he put his car into the pits, and now his day is done. As at Kent they'll do what they can to fix the car and get him out and going, but as far as competing for the win, he is well out of contention, so they'll get that car back up, and I'm sure he'll be out. But for right now, that is just a massive blow to the day that Oguz Atkins was having. So with that news, we'll take a look through the field, and we'll have to see whom is around each other. Is actually Adam Parle and Maximilian Scheider. Scheider and Parle. Parle has been really going hammer and tong. He's been racing all race long, and you can just tell by looking at the front of that Corvette is stricken with all sorts of deposits of rubber and dirt and grime. So Maximilian Scheider is the one that is up in front, though he is in fourth position. Adam Parle is looking to reclaim that spot. Now, both of these cars started 9th and 8th, and these guys have been racing pretty much all race long, as they were originally racing for 5th. But, you know, with that incident with Oguz, they've managed to now make it into a 4th. So, and they're only, 4 or 5 seconds off the rear end of Bakir Karka, the 73 Corvette, so who's in third right now. So Maximilian Scheider and Adam Parle possibly fighting right now for implications of a podium finish here at the American Team Challenge. But things to note here is that it's not necessarily where you are finishing, but it's where your teammate is finishing, as Maximilian Scheider's teammate Dustin Hickman in the Ford GT2 car. He is running third right now, so I think between Maximilian Scheider and Dustin Hickman, they're probably doing the best, a fourth and a third right now in class, whereas Paul Ilbrink, while he is leading the Radicals race for the Corvette, Denny Rates is down in 17th position overall, which is 7th position in the Ford GT2 class. So we'll have to see how the points all scale themselves out and who is going to win this American Team Challenge race here at Road America. So we're an hour and 10 minutes into this race. We've got just 20 minutes to go, and we'll see if we can't just take one quick little break here before we start the final sprint, as we're basically started to where we left off in the first heat. We've got 20 minutes of racing to go here at Road America, This is RaceSpotTV. You're watching the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. We'll keep our eyes to pit road and see if anybody is going to come in and need any fuel. Alright, so as we're still looking at Maximilian Scheider in that 777 Corvette, as sometimes it's not necessarily the brakes that are necessary, but the dogs that need tending to. And for the enjoyment of us all and not hearing Zoe the race spot dog barking her head off. So, as Maximilian Scheider will pass the start-finish line one more time, completing lap number 34 and starting lap number 35 with just under 18 minutes to go here at Road America. We'll have to see exactly what he has in the tank for Bakir Karaka. As, oh, he spins out. Oh, heavens. I spoke too soon. Oh, and then Adam Parle hits him. Oh, heavens. That's not a good idea. So, heavens, we'll have to get a replay of that up on your screens. Maximilian Scheider, he just lost the rear end going into turn number 3, and the rear end just snapping out on that Corvette, perhaps the tires getting worn as he tried to roll his way out of the way of Adam Parle. Parle, there was not much he could do as he just he got through the corner and he's just tried to woe it up on the brakes, and I think he just realized that the collision was imminent no matter what was going to be done. But ultimately Adam Parle now sitting in 4th position, Maximilian Scheider in 5th position. I'm not sure. I think Adam Parle might have gotten the worst out of those two, as it just looks like Scheider has picked up just a slight amount of right side damage. It does look like he's caved in quite substantially, but I'm not necessarily sure. Perhaps that'll mess with the exhaust, but we'll have to find out. With just under the 10 minutes remaining. I don't know, we're about 15 minutes remaining. Yeah, 16 minutes remaining. So we'll have to see if Scheider's car is relatively okay and whether or not he can recover at all, as Adam Parle, who he is obviously the worst out of those two, as the front end of Parle's car is quite understand. It's there's no other word for it. It's destroyed. The front end of that Corvette has seen much better days, as Parle will continue to race, though, with Boldrin now emboldened by this development, trying to hustle in to see if he can't catch Adam Parle with his damaged and stricken car, as it looks like that is exactly what is going to happen, as Boldrin will be able to close up quite handedly through Canada corner as Parle is pitting. So that damage was too much for that car of 235. So Adam Parle will be pulling that in, and he will lose many a position, all of which he has fought for. So it just looked like that car was suffering way too much speed issues, and Adam Parle will be bringing that car through pits. They'll put a new front nose on that, and they'll probably send him on his way. So with that, we will reset it there. That's unfortunate for Adam Parle. We've had a couple of unfortunate incidents here, as Parle was part of that incident between him and Maximilian Scheidel. So Scheidel He is not pitted, though. He is still on track. It looks like he only got a little bit of a punt. Not much damage to his car, but for the most part, it has been a very interesting endurance race here, a very interesting finale here, the last 90 minutes of racing in the Gathering a Tweakin' race as the American Team Challenge will continue. Don't forget, though, the GES, the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series, will be up next week with the Neo Endurance Series for another long endurance weekend here on RaceSpotTV from Watkins Glen. It'll be a 3-hour event from the Gathering of Tweakers Series, the GT3 cars and the Daytona prototypes, and then it'll be the big boys. It'll be the GT1 car that you see here today, the GT2 Ford, of which is also here today, and then we throw in the Honda Prototype Development HPD, and that is it's a great sight to see if you've never seen it before, and we strongly advise you to rectify that if you haven't. But that'll be next weekend, and that will be from Watkins Glen, a 6-hour race on Sunday, and then a 3-hour race on Saturday. So, as Paul Elbrink continues to roll his way through, he's got a 6.8 second lead as he has lapped quite significant amount of cars here today. There's only 9 cars remaining on the lead lap. Of course, that's through the Corvettes. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Corvettes that are laps down. Of course, many of them have had incidents, which is very unfortunate. But for the most part, though, it has been a relatively clean race. There have been a couple of incidents that have resulted in black flags, a couple of warnings for dive bombs, but for the most part, it has been clean. That number 12 Radicals Online car, that Paul Elbrink piloted car, is looking to take home the victory here for Radicals Online, but I'm just not sure if there's anything in it. He won the sprint race, but I'm not quite sure. I don't remember where Denny Rates finished in the sprint race, but it is also dependent on where that Ford GT2 car of Denny Rates will finish. He's rolling on his own right now, just ahead of Afghan Burkai, who had that black flag. But right now, as this is the American Team Challenge, how this is going to go. So perhaps Paul Elbrink will come away with the personal victory, but Radicals might not come away with the American Team Challenge, as I think it might be. It might very well be Nick Thyssen and Baslab, the 2 Gathering of Tweakers cars. One's in second and one's in first. Or perhaps in some strange twist of fate, it'll be Maximilian Scheider and Dustin Hickman, the SimRC.de car, as Hickman actually just makes his way past the lapped car of Arthur Hermont. So very interesting storylines here to be bringing to you here today from Road America. Of course, as I've said quite a couple of times now, this is RaceSpotTV, and this is the American Team Challenge, as they are finishing up the Gathering of Tweakers season. So it is just an interesting challenge, I have to say. Of course, Week 13, as we call it, or a patch day, patch week, as other games or other series might call it, was this week. And while there were quite a definitely couple of hiccups, the team had worked, the iRacing.com team had worked overnight. I think it was 2 or 3 nights in a row, not seeing their families, not anything like that, and they were able to get everything rectified and at least fixed to a stable platform. It was very unfortunate that all the effort that they put into it just before releasing the build didn't pay off just as they thought it would, but it's just one of those things. It's how we go. If there's any familiar players with online games out there, you'll be very familiar with what happens when patch day arrives. There's always troubles. So this one, though, it was rather troublesome, but for what has been come in, the actual game itself, there have been many positive changes. Perhaps on our onboards, you've heard the clattering of marbles on the inner sides. You can see the grass and the marbles kicking up and bouncing off of the cars. It's all very exciting stuff that is coming into the iRacing.com service, but I think one of the biggest things that we have seen is the release of the McLaren MP4-30, otherwise known as the 2015 Formula One car from McLaren. It features the full suite of ERS and the DRS, as the DRS zones. I've actually seen a couple of the DRS zone signs here at Road America. And that will be taking over from the Formula Williams, the FW31, the Williams Formula One car from many years before they even had such a thing as KERS or ERS or anything like that. So that McLaren will be taking over as the Pro Series Formula One car, but that will be coming forthcoming, as right now we'll finish up our Pro Series with as what has happened to Maximilian Scheider's front end. The front end has been completely ripped off of Maximilian Scheider's Corvette. What has happened here? Oh, I see what has happened. Something that's very simple. It's just getting caught out. He went under the Speedville Bridge. Actually, he didn't go under the Speedville Bridge. Let's see, where was this? This was, as I'm having a difficulty time watching this, is no, it just looks like he was coming off underneath the Corvette Bridge. He came out of the Corvette Bridge, and taking that left-hander, lost the rear end and sent him into the concrete barrier. So that is where the front end damage has come on his car, and he has now pulled that into pit lane as well. They're going to change the body out on that car and send him back out there for sure, as the front end, I think all the suspension-y bits are fairly fine, as he's already pulling away with the body damaged, the unbody damaged car now, as he has lost his positions from what he has gained. Insult to injuries. I think Adam Parle has now even gotten past. Yes, he has. So Parle is now gotten that position on Maximilian Scheider, and that has allowed Bram Reniers of the Torque Freak Racing team, the Corvette Torque Freak Racing car, to pull up into 5th position rather sneakily. Bram Reniers, he's just held on, he's kept his laps, he's kept his car clean, and now he's in 5th position. He started in 10th. So that number 281 car, while it's been a little quiet for the Torque Freak Racing Corvette, it ultimately is working to pay off, though I can see just by looking at the left side that thing has been through some battles at some point, as he'll actually clip the grass coming off through the kink. That's something you don't want to see, but ultimately, though, he holds it together. But as we close out here on lap number 40, actually, Paul Olbrink's about halfway through lap number 40. It is just a developing story here, as Paul Olbrink, the rear end of that car, stretching well out. I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to have enough fuel for the finish, as Paul Olbrink's bringing that Corvette around. They pitted relatively early, I thought. It was about 40 minutes in. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that Olbrink Corvette does have enough fuel to the finish. If not, that is going to change things. Nick Thiessen's 6 seconds back. Bekir Karaka, who was probably one of the last ones to pit, he came in. Well, actually, I think I'm mistaking my pink Corvettes, as I think that they came in a little earlier. But it is just as we cross the line this time by, we'll get a clearer picture of what has happened between these incidents between Adam Parle and Maximilian Scheider, as we'll see where everyone stands. Paul Olbrink taking the final corner right now to close out lap number 40. It has been a long race for Paul Olbrink, not necessarily challenged, but there have been quite a couple of times where things have gotten very exciting very quick, as he will cross the line with a 204.9, which is relatively, it's right on the ball, right where his practice times were. So he's still putting in good laps, as Nick Thiessen will cross the line just a scant 6.5 seconds after, with Bekir Karaka in 3rd position, 45 seconds off the rear end of Olbrink. Duljan Boldrin in 4th position, with Bram Reniers in 5th. Adam Parle, after all of this, is now down into 6th position, with Oguza Kent in 7th. Maximilian Scheider is in 8th position, with Jason Katz in 9th. Martin Green is running in 10th position. He is the first Corvette that is still running 1 lap down. So I think that's a pretty impressive thing to say, that after 41 laps of racing here at Road America, it has been, there is only 1 running Corvette that is a lap down. That is very impressive. It goes to show the strength of this Gathering of Tweakers field that we are watching here today. So we'll set through all that. We'll wave goodbye to the Corvettes for just 1 moment's time, as we have only got some 5 minutes to go here. Where has the time gone? It is Slob right now as he is crossing the start-finish line. And he is going to complete his lap number 40 with a 2:08.7. So he's been running good laps all race long. Stefan Overgaard, though, he's not that far behind. If you can see the set of headlights behind Slob, that's Stefan Overgaard. The gap has closed up substantially. Overgaard having gone 0.4 of a second faster that last lap by. But looking at it, Dustin Hickman. Hickman had a good race going for him. He was up into second position, but he lost that position to Overgaard, and for good reason, as Overgaard has now left him in the dust. Unfortunately, I think Hickman is dealing with some rear tire issues. I think the rears have gone on his Ford. He is just bringing it home, which is perfectly okay to do. He is in third position. David Barraclough in fourth position, quite a ways away. I'd almost say 45 seconds off the leaders, as Fevziken Ozkin is in 15th position overall. That's going to leave him in fifth. As far as, well, actually, that's a relatively easy thing to do. The first G Ford is in 11th, so now I just have to remove the 10, and that's where they are. Excellent. Excellent development here in the RaceSpotTV booth. Nobody messed that up. As Oskin's in fifth. Then he rates that Radicals car. Very important, seeing as his teammate is leading in the Corvette class, is in sixth. Efkin Berkey is in 17th position, or 7th in the Ford class. Darren Seal is in 8th in the Fords. Tom Thompson's in 9th in the Fords. Steve Greenwood is in 20th, or in 10th in the Fords. Andy Morgan's in 11th in the Fords, and Arthur Hermot is in 12th in this Ford class field. It has just been an exciting Ford race as far as I am concerned. Both races exciting to watch, but it's when we tally it all up together and we see who is coming out on top as a team, as this is a team event. These may be individual drivers driving their individual cars. They're not hopping in and out and swapping them. They are driving 2 entries, 1 entry in the Corvette class, 1 entry in the Ford class. We'll tally up who finishes the best in both classes, and that is how we will determine our American Team Challenge champion for this series of Gathering the Tweakers. It's been an interesting race, most certainly, and I hope that we can see events that are like this in the future, for sure. I do kind of wish that there was somebody else to talk with me about it, but hey, you know, hey. Either way, Paul Ilbrink will pull it across one more time. He is just about done. He should have 2 laps to go here at the line as he goes past the lapped car of Maximilian Scheider. He has had a miserable second half of this race. As yes, we should. It was 1:28.58. It's 1 hour 27 minutes and 58 seconds. So we might have 2 laps to go here, or might even have 3. I'm not quite sure, as it is going to be very, very close. It should be 1 lap past this one, though. Hopefully, if the math is right. So this should be the second to last lap. I'm always bad at these things, so I could be wrong, but it should be this one plus another one, and then Paul Ilbrink will have the victory well in hand here. Though I will say, though, Nick Thyssen did have a very much faster lap last time by, but it is a 7.3 second gap. No amount of speed, unless something dramatic happens to Paul Ilbrink, will ever bring that back. So, looking through where everyone is on the track, Adam Parwell and Oguz Akant are relatively close together, as there's quite a couple of cars all lined up. As Parwell is pitting. Parwell is no. Okay, all right. I heard a ding. Oh, you know what? I know why I heard a ding. Okay, somebody has messaged me on the wrong server. Okay, we'll deal with that, as Nick Thyssen, I believe, is he took an excursion off of the track, as that was rather dramatic. I heard a ding and I heard somebody was pitting, but I lied. So, with that, as Hugo apologizes, I don't believe him, though. I don't think he's sorry at all. He just wanted to get one over on me before the end of the race. Oh heavens, what has happened here? As Nick Thyssen has now made contact with somebody. What is going on? As it looks like Maximilian Scheider has spun the car once again. What has happened to that car? It looks like, oh heavens, we'll have to look at it. As Paul Ilbrink will most certainly win. Oh no, there's been a big incident between Maximilian Scheider. It was Andy Morgan and Dustin Hickman, his teammate. As we are on the last lap, just to describe very quickly what has happened, the absolute worst for that sim racing DE car, that Maximilian Scheider and Dustin Hickman have had a collision after, I believe, Hickman ended up absolutely roasting Canada Corner, and he bonked both the Fords of Andy Morgan and his teammate, Dustin Hickman. That is awful to see right there, the Corvette of Maximilian Scheider. But ultimately, though, we have to look to the front of the field as he goes under the Sargento Bridge. It is Paul Ilbrink, as Ilbrink is looking to bring that car home, as Nick Thyssen was ended up brought into that incident by virtue of the yellow simracing.de car being having sat down on that racetrack. But hopefully we'll get you guys were able to see it on the replay, because right now it's nothing but live pictures as Paul Ilbrink is looking to bring that car home in the first position as here at the Gathering of Tweakers American Team Challenge is Paul Ilbrink. He's taking the carousel. We've already completed the 1 hour and 30-minute time. He's got the fuel, he's got the tires. Paul Ilbrink with Radicals Online is looking to repeat here. He won a 20-minute sprint race, and now he's going to win the 90-minute race here at Road America. And this 4-mile, 14-turn course as Paul Ilbrink, well, you got to hand it to him. It hasn't been a necessarily easy trip for him. It's been quiet for some points, but in other points he's had quite a lot of pressure to perform as he is going to take that final position, the final turn right now. Paul Ilbrink getting onto the accelerator will work his way up the massive hill here at Road America. He will cross the start-finish line without any fanfare, and he will win the Corvette Field section of the American Teams Challenge Endurance Race. Where will Nick Thyssen come across? As Nick Thyssen is well off track now that I've found him. Where is Nick Thyssen? He needs a GPS. Oh, there he is. He's found his way back on the course, and he is taking the final corner right now, but he is very secured in second position no matter what damage he picked up on that car from Maximilian being parked on that the middle of the track right there. So as we'll see that, and of course Karaka is going to come across as well in third position. So Baslav right now, Baslav and Stefan Ovengard, as they go under the Speedville Bridge, are working at it. Baslav, though, it looks like if things hold as they are, with Baslav finishing in first in the Ford the Ford field, and Nick Thyssen finishing in second in the Corvette field, it looks like the Gathering of Tweakers team car might just come away with the American Team Challenge. But we will have to see, and of course we have the points from the 20-minute heat race, heat race, sprint race, whatever you'd like to call it. So Baslav will take Canada Corner without fanfare. He's alone. He doesn't have anyone around him as he'll go through Bill Mitchell Bend and start heading towards the final corner, number 14, as he works his way through the final corner. This time he'll let that car reach out onto the overflow of the track, and he will work his way up the stretch, and that Gathering of Tweakers Ford GT2 car will come across the line, and he will win the Ford equivalent. The Ford class field goes to Baslav, with Stefan Overgaard finishing just behind, some 5-6 seconds. Stefan Overgaard in that Asbury Motorsports car, with Dustin Hickman is going to be crossing the line, finishing. Oh no, Dustin Hickman's out of fuel. Hickman is out of fuel, trying to chug his way up the line. That 30th, the car number 30, oh, it's dead. Everything is quiet in the Ford GT2 car, but it doesn't matter. He's made it. He's crossed in third position as David Barraclough in that Torque Freak Racing car, having already crossed the line. He was a lap down from Hickman by virtue of the Corvette class. So, with that rather exciting finish to the race, I have to say that has been one exciting finish. We're going to calculate the points, the incidents, and after that we will have a final result. You are watching the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge. If you're just joining us, where have you been? The race has just gotten over right now. We're going to go through the final positions, as it were, here in the 90-minute event, and then we will go through and calculate the points and see who has won the American Team Challenge here at Road America. So, finishing in first position is Paul Ilbrink in 1 hour and 32 minutes with 11 seconds, and followed by Nick Thyssen in second in the Corvette class. Bekir Karaka in third, Duljan Boldrin in fourth, Bram Reiners in fifth, Adam Pearl finishing in sixth, Olgu Ekens in seventh, Jason Katz will finish in eighth, Martin Green in the 9th position, and Maximilian Scheider in the 10th position. A miserable finish to Maximilian's race. Baslav finishing in 11th. That will be the Ford field. So he has come home in the winning position. It will be 11th for the Fords. So Baslav finishing just 1 lap down off of the Corvettes. Not bad at all after 43 laps of racing. So Baslav winning, Stefan Overgaard coming in second, Dustin Hickman in third, David Barraclough in fourth, Fevzikan Ozkin, he's going to punch me, I tell you, as Denny Ratz, the Radicals car, will finish in 16th, Afghan Berkey in 17th position, Darren Seal in 18th, Tom Thompson in 19th position, Steve Greenwood finishing in 20th, Andy Morgan in 21st, and Arthur Hermont finishing in 22nd. The non-finishers, the cars that are many laps down, Douglas Beard in 19th with 19 laps down. He'll finish in 23rd. Mark Figueres in 24th. Tim Glacius in 25th. David DeHoogie in 26th. David Dos Roches, who had that brake issue, finishing in 27th. Eduardo Tamiti in 28th position. Aiden Pike in 29th. Andy Collins-Reed will finish in 30th position. Remco Mode will finish 31st. Martin Hillingers in 32nd. Joris Thailand, which was a very early retirement, the Phoenix car, finished in 33rd, with Danny Boas in 34th, non-starter. So with that, we're going to re-rack them, we're going to stack them, and we're going to see about what we can do in just one moment's time as they calculate the points. Well, let's see. Well, we're standing by at the very least here with Paul Ilbrink as we figure out what the exact plan is. So, Paul, you just hopped out of that Corvette. It's a little bit of a longer gap, huh, between getting out of the car and the interview. Well, the first time it was a 20 minutes a walk. Now it's an hour and 30 minutes, a little bit more sweat in the brow, and you came home, same position. You finished in first in the Corvette class of the Gathering of Tweakers American Team Challenge.
Yeah, it was a bit of a longer ride, but we're used to doing longer races anyway, so it's not much of a problem. It was a good race, and although I won twice, I think we don't win the overall championship, so congrats on, I think it will be Nick and Bas that win it, but let's wait. What's the official word?
Yes, let's wait indeed. So, either way, let's talk about your race as a whole. The last race, we didn't have to deal with lap traffic, and I saw the very first time that you came across Fords, there were 2 or 3 of them all racing 3 wide, and they even had an incident going into turn 1 right in front of you. Lap traffic worked pretty much in your favor today?
Yeah, I didn't have too many problems with it. There was an incident in turn 1, what you're talking about, but it was pretty obvious what's going to happen, so I could stay clear of any contacts there, so that was fine. And the rest of the race was pretty fine with traffic, so it was good.
Yeah, now I noticed you guys came into pit relatively early. I guess you just loaded it up with fuel to the finish as soon as you could?
Yeah, I wanted to switch to the new tires as quick as I could because the lap times difference is quite big in the drop-off, so I didn't want to lose any advantage there, so I came in as early as I could, and it worked out in the end.
Well, yes, it did, and you came out. It would have been about 7 or 8 seconds ahead of Nick Thyssen if he didn't have an excursion or 2 into the dirt. So, actually standing by with Nick Thyssen, we'll bring him on board. But before then, Paul, for the Radicals team and the Radicals effort here in the American Team Challenge, you got anybody to thank out there for the second time?
Thanks to Danny again for doing it, the rest of the team, Gathering of Tweakers for organizing the race, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
Well, of course, we're happy to do it. So, Paul Ilbrink from the Radicals team, winning the race in commanding fashion. I think the only time that he wasn't leading was when he was in the pits. So, with that, we'll head over to the Gathering of Tweakers, the very dark navy blue team car of the Gathering of Tweakers. It's Nick Thyssen. And Nick, well, it's been 90 minutes. It's a lot different than than the 20-minute sprint we just had, but you finished in second position, and well, just take me through your race.
Hey Cam.
Hey.
It was a pretty difficult race. A lot of strategy, I think. I tried to save some fuel behind Paul, but didn't really work. I think I still spent a lot of time in the pits, and then I made some mistakes. I hit another car, so sorry to Andy. I think it was. I don't think he had any damage, but that wasn't nice. So yeah, I lost a lot of time, and then I tried to just keep my incidents low, which did not work in the end. So I really have no idea if we really won in the end, because I got, I think, like 8 penalty points. So it will depend on Danny, I think.
Well, we'll have to see as we wait with bated breath. Though, just going away from it, you finished here in second, but the whole Gathering of Tweakers team, I mean, Boslav has come away with the victory here at Road America. But don't forget, next weekend, you guys are going to be right back at it again.
Yeah, we still have a lot of practice to do, I think. It was a bit on the back burner, of course, with this race and with the new build.
Yes,
so hopefully we can
certainly.
show some good results next week.
Yeah, and you'll be in both the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series race on Saturday and the Neo Endurance Series race on Sunday. So, anyone else before we hear any of that, I'm sure we'll bring you back on when we get the points. But anyone you'd like to thank out there before then?
Yeah, of course, the organizers. Usually I'm part of them, but so I know how much work it is. So thanks to the new organizers, Pascal and the other Nick, and also of course Joep and all the marshals.
Well,
thanks to you for the broadcast, of course, and thanks to Bas for winning his race.
Last but not least, thanking his teammate for coming home with a victory. So, right, we'll hop right over there. We'll go right at it. We're going right in order. Boslav, you're the first of the Ford guys we're taking a word with. But well, we brought you in after the 20-minute race. You won that, and it was pretty handed. Well, this time by, I don't think it was necessarily that easy. After 90 minutes of racing, it was still pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, I got a little gap at the start of the race, and then yeah, it wasn't that hard. Just they needed to keep focus, not making any mistakes. But in the end, Stefan was really pushing, and he was catching me really fast. And I was thinking we would have another fight to the end like last time, but I think he made a small mistake, and then I had some breathing room again, so then it was easy.
Yes. So, just overall through the race, I mean, you've got the Corvettes going by, and I'm sure that's that's not a new thing for any of us here having to deal with lap traffic, but a little different from the sprint race. You had to work around those Corvettes and maybe do some planning to let them through. But just the overall race, I mean, you came in relatively early to pit, and everything just seemed to work out. Are you a big fan of Road America here?
Yeah, I like this track a lot. It's a lot of fun to drive, and with Corvettes, I planned my pit like when I saw the Corvettes coming. Then I went into the pit, so a bunch of them went past, and then I didn't have to bother with them anymore. So that was nice. And overall, the Corvettes were doing pretty well, not doing any crazy stuff, overtaking, and in the corners I was as fast as the Corvettes mostly, so I could just let them by on the straight, so that was nice.
Yes, and then you've, of course, came away with the victory. So, well, I mean, the victory in the Ford class, which is a victory. So, I mean, it wasn't bad at all racing for us to be watching. But I have to say, going on through the field there, we'll go over to who's finishing in second position in the Ford class, Stefan Overgaard. Stefan, you've had a rather long race. It's been, well, a lot of up and downs. Take me through it.
Yeah, it was a good fight at the start with Baz. I made a few mistakes and really hurt my tires, I think, so I was struggling at the end of the first stint. And then came out with the first tires and started catching back up, but I was really having to push, so in the end I had made some mistakes and couldn't catch Baz again.
Well, either way, I mean, you finished here in second position. Your teammate, unfortunately, having brake issues, and he had to pull off, as obviously you can't really operate these types of cars without brakes. So overall, though, I mean, a very good performance, a very strong performance from the Asbury Ford GT here. Are you happy with the race here at Road America?
Yeah, it's unfortunately that David had problems, but I'm happy to finish second. I was obviously would like to finish first, but was not to be.
Yes, and before we start looking outwards towards next weekend, you got anybody you'd like to thank?
Just the rest of the drivers. That was real clean, both with the Corvettes and the Ford GTs, so good fighting.
Oh, good fighting indeed. And you guys planning on having a good race at Watkins Glen next weekend? I believe, I'm not sure who's doubling who, but I know that it's going to be the Gathering Endurance Series and the Neo Endurance Series on Saturday and Sunday, so we'll hope to see you there.
Yeah, I'll be back there with David as well.
Yeah, so, well, Stefan, thank you very much for hopping in with us, as they're still working on the calculator spreadsheets with the ticky-tacks and the typewritery clappities. So we're figuring out the points, as there's quite a bit to go through, I would imagine. I can't just expect them to snap fingers and have it come through. So we'll have a word with Maximilian Scheider. Maximilian, you seem to be having a relatively good race. You're even fighting for fourth or third position, and ultimately the second half of that race was just, it wasn't exactly a good time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mess. First half of the race was pretty nice, had nice fights. Almost got into third, I think, or something. Was also in fourth, but then I just, threw it away. Once I just shifted in first gear, and since then I was just going crap. I spun it another time into the wall, need to repairs, and then was a big incident where I overtook my teammate, but I just somehow didn't brake early enough, too late or something, and then my car was just sliding away and went into the Ford. Was jumped out of my seat, let the car roll back to the track. Was a bad idea.
Well, it was indeed, but either way, just the beginning of the first half of that race, your battle with Adam Pearl throughout most of the race was constantly being shown here on the booth as we're getting the numbers right now. We'll go through that. We'll announce it in just one moment's time, but either way, I mean, you had some good battles in the beginning, though either way, not necessarily the best ending. Are you looking forward to next weekend?
I don't drive next weekend. I don't drive the Endurance Series. But I would like to drive it, but I don't have really teammates who want to drive it or something like that. So, but I looked forward to watch the races, especially the Neo Endurance Series, where our team is driving, but not me. And yes.
Well, maybe someday they can get you in, as you had a very good race in the beginning here, so perhaps they can get you in a pinch or something. But either way, thank you very much for popping in and taking part of this interesting American Team Challenge. And anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the organization for the race and to the drivers and to my team. And yes.
All right, well, Maximilian Scheider, thank you very much for hopping in and saying a couple of words with us here in the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. But now it is time. I wish we had a drum roll, but we don't, and I'm not even going to try. So we have the points handed down on the sheet of paper, and it is going to be the Gathering of Tweakers team with 75 points coming away with the American Team Challenge Championship, with Radicals Online with 66 points, the Momentum for Life with the 55 points, the Torque Freak Racing also with 55 points, so Torque Freak and the Momentum 4 also they're tying with 55 in 5th and 6th, and Asbury Motorsports will finish in 7th. So just looking through, I don't think I think everyone kind of saw this was happening, but you never know. So Nick, we'll go to you first. Coming home with hopefully the first run of this interesting team challenge tournament type race. Just how do you think everything went as a whole?
Yeah, I think it went fine. Actually, it's like the 5th time we do this, but we stopped them for a while, but. We kind of introduced this instead of the real team racing. I think it's a lot more fun to have both cars on track at the same time.
Well, it was entertaining for me when at least I could breathe. So I have to say this is the first time I've seen an event like this. I'm very happy to have seen it, but just for sure, at least the first that I've seen of this type of an event, and you guys managed to pull it off between both you and Boss Slob, your teammate, but. Ultimately though, it's a pretty good day when you do a couple of hours of racing and you prove once again that you guys are right on top.
Yeah, thanks. It's nice to win. Well, I'm usually in the organization, so the one time I race, it's nice to come out on top. So especially thanks to Bas, because I kind of messed up at the end.
Well, it wasn't from lack of effort from you at all, as you finished in 2nd in your class and Boss finished in 1st. So, Boss, you've come home with the victory here at Road America for the team challenge. How's that feel?
It feels great. Winning is always nice.
Now, so people tell me. Well, either way, hopefully you guys can roll this momentum forward in the next week at Watkins Glen. Of course, Watkins Glen being slightly different from Road America, and the cars are going to be slightly different from that as well. But hopefully you guys can roll it into Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I haven't practiced with the HPD yet this build, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Watkins Glen it's not that hard. You just don't crash. It's at least that's what people tell me. It's either way though, Boss Slob, Nick Thiessen, thank you very much for stopping in. Congratulations on your victory here in the American Team Challenge. We'll go to Paul Ilbrink. We'll see. Paul, it wasn't for a lack of effort on both your parts, but it just wasn't meant to be today.
Yeah. It happens. You can't win them all, so they can have this one. We'll take the Watkins Glen race next week.
Well, we'll see that here live on RaceSpotTV, by the way, and iRacing Live. So either way, it was some good racing. We'll hopefully roll us into some more good racing somewhere down the road. It's never a bad time when you get cars together and have a race like this. So, any last thoughts?
No.
No, I'll take it at that. I think we pretty much covered everything. So either way, so with that, I believe, Hugo, we might just be ready to start wrapping this thing up. So, as we said, next weekend it is going to be the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series on Watkins Glen, 3 hours on Saturday. The Neo Endurance Series for 6 hours of Watkins Glen on Sunday. So stay tuned to our channel here on RaceSpotTV, as well as iRacing Live. That will be broadcast live by more than just me, thankfully. So, with that out of the way, it has been a pleasure to bring this to you. I'm Cameron Walsh. He's Hugo Louis on the cameras, the production, and all of the other gizmos and gizmics that all make this wondrous machine go around. If you like what you're watching, of course, you can subscribe and do all of those other things that people on social media tell you to do. So, for me, Cam Walsh, for Hugo Louis, for the entire RaceSpotTV staff, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the Gathering of Tweakers season finale, the American Team Challenge race here at Road America. Once again, congratulations to the Gathering of Tweakers team for coming away with a victory here at Road America. We will see you all next time.